elimination. The Wonder Kid gets the job done.
Just thinking about we're gonna lift the trophy together. I don't know, I don't think that much when that moment. That was my first international game, so that was quite easy for me to get the MVP, and yeah, very lovely.
What made them strong in 2025 was the wonder kid called Rasya. You know, he's been in the circuit for many years, and for many years he could not play on a stage like this because he was underage, their best sniper. And I think that was their secret sauce to success. If you look at him, he is the most humble kid you'll ever come across. You know, bright eyes. He never ever underestimates anyone. I think the most important thing is he wants to prove himself out there as well. And the moment he got the opportunity to do that, he did exactly that.
Esports, this is the time to shine! Everyone, Sergeant, Abuya!
No, I think I feel so confident. We're training so hard in Indonesia, so we're very confident to lift the trophy again.
21 elimination from the champions of Clash Quad and still on the roll. And Evo's being taken down.
Ya, setelah di EWC kemarin kita sudah tidak mendapatkan piala-piala lagi, kita tidak bisa ngejuarain turnamen-turnamen berikutnya mungkin karena kita udah lupa siapa kita sebenarnya. Tetapi di hari ini kita sudah ingat siapa diri kita sebenarnya.
If you look at the data, it says they will not be the back-to-back champions. If you look at the kids and if you look at how determined they are to be back-to-back champions, there's a slight possibility. But it's going to be difficult because for the first time ever on the global stage, we've got 24 teams. Everybody's got that exact same dream. Because that dream is alive for the rest, the chances of EVOS Divine doing it back-to-back may be a little lower.
Kalau untuk tim-tim lain sih, kalau buat saya sendiri saya tidak perlu memikirkan banyak hal tentang tim-tim lain karena itu saya sudah percaya kepada coach saya. Jadi saya tinggal fokus aja main. Nah, itu yang terbaik pokoknya. Pesan-pesan untuk tim-tim lain, ya hati-hatilah karena ini EWC bukan turnamen yang lain. Kalian bisa lihat sejarah-sejarah kita di turnamen EWC kemarin. Nah, itu dia, kalian hati-hati aja yang ngegangguin drop zone kita.
Can you believe that Buriram United managed to get 3 booyahs yesterday? It's actually insane. I still can't believe it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I tell you what though, 2 champs, back-to-back champs, global finals and now EWC 26, potential for an absolutely glorious run.
Yeah.
Yeah. EVOS Esports, defending EWC champs, managing to get 1 booyah as well. I mean, Lace, this is just, it's turning out to be an insane competition. I tell you what, the way that I see it, right? Team Apex Gaming have to come out of the gate swinging on day 2 of groups because they just need to do something, otherwise they're going to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think AGAL are the most consistent team here, and to be honest with you as well, Gun Dynasty impressed everyone on day 1, didn't they? Is that a croissant? Nice. Welcome to day 2 of Free Fire at the Esports World Cup.
What is up, survivors? This is the STC Rewind for Free Fire at EWC 26. As the teams get geared up for day 2 of the group stage, here's a bit of a recap of what happened on day 1.
Now here's the thing, when we started off with Group A, the most difficult group out there, they went all in and he was divine. There were little doubts, but they were able to acquire their top position on the chart. But the main problem stands about the difference that is there in Group A. There's a lot of points that teams need to acquire in case they want to make it at the final.
But for Group B, it's a lot more tactical. The teams came in and they were trying to read each other moves, and the point differential and the margins is actually a lot more tighter than Group A, but the front runners are still the teams that we expected to be at the top.
While the front runners are taking these points away, it's about the teams who might get eliminated at the end of group stage. On Group A, we have two teams who need to start picking up pace. On Group B, there's Mia Corp as well as Straw Hats, Titan Esports Club and Demon Sprite on the other end. So it's going to be a tough battle in case they want to rake up points, especially for Group A.
There are some teams that started off slow but came in swinging in the later stages of the game, with Aurora Gaming and also Team Falcons from Group A. But even for Group B, Team Secret, the recent spring winners of SCA 2025, also came out hot, but they are clear favorites for both groups. Buriram United Esports with 3 Booyahs in Group A and MIBR Laws for Group B.
So the whole competition so far, to kind of rewind it back, it's between SEA versus Brazil. Who gets the champions title? Who makes it to the final first is what we are in the question for.
Yeah, and if you have missed out on some of the storylines, when we look at Group A, it's a group of champions, multi-world champions like BRU, with teams like Team Falcons who have won EWC 24, Evo's Divine, EWC 25. But for Group B, it's a group of second places, second chances, redemption arcs, teams that have gotten close to the podium but never finished first, teams who have experienced multiple heartbreaks, RRQ, Fluxo, and even to a certain degree, the Vietnamese teams, this time with their weights on Team Secret.
I think the main highlight that we ended up seeing were Gun Dynasty, and on the other end, it was Al Ahly, right? One in Gun Dynasty picked up really big time, but Al Ahly, can they do something different? That is what we have to stay tuned for here at Day 2.
Free Fire continues to heat up in terms of competitiveness, so today is only going to get more and more interesting.
It's week 2 of the club championship race here at EWC 2026, and yesterday saw Icons taking the stage in League of Legends. To kick things off, Fakers T1 started off strong with a win against GAM Esports, while teams like G2, AGAL, Genji, and Sentinels saw themselves all advance to their group's upper bracket finals. Unfortunately, though, for fans of Furia and Team Secret, your teams went out at the hands of D+ and Carmine Corp. Over in MLBB Women's Invitational, today the group stage begins. But the big news coming out of there is the fact that Falcons were able to survive the wild card stage when they were able to take out Huns in the deciding match. They'll now be joining the likes of Vitality, Liquid, Aurora, Spirit, and Onyx, looking to make a splash in the competition. Finally, Dota 2 playoffs begin today. And of course, with both Team Spirit and Falcons in there, they'll be looking to get some big points on the board for their clubs in the club championship. When it comes to things over here, though, for us at Free Fire, we're in Day 2 of our group stage. What does that mean? That means 4 teams will be going home today, while 8 will secure their place in the finals. And that's going to be big for our teams looking to make storylines in the club championship. Still lots of gameplay left to go, though, so we'll have to see how all of it plays out.
Day 1 of Free Fire was full of dominance. We had 2 teams in Group A and Group B being able to get 3 Booyahs. Today, though, on Day 2, is any team gonna be able to do that? We'll get some answers to that. Welcome back to Free Fire at EWC 26. My name is the 7WG, and I'm joined by some amazing people: Lace, Neptune, and Conchita. Neptune, are you going to be cursing any teams today?
One thing's for sure. If I'm going to cheer on a team, I just won't mention their name.
Continuing the tradition, okay?
How though?
We kind of have to jinx some team at some point.
I like the way you think. Well, I have to definitely continue on that tradition, because right now you can join the EWC content program. If you haven't already, make sure you do so. It is the Esports Foundation Creator Program. There will be a QR code at one point that's going to show up. Make sure you scan that and join it. You can earn rewards. And if you end up being in the first place, well, depending on where you are on that leaderboard, you might end up getting interviewed by us on the final day of Free Fire. So go join the Esports Foundation Creator Program. And while you're at it, make sure you also check out the website for EWC and the app. Put in your predictions. Who's going to be winning? Because I know nobody predicted some teams to get 3 Booyahs yesterday. Maybe today it will happen again. We'll have to figure it out. But if you do end up doing that, use the hashtag EWC and hashtag EWC26 of any of the fun stuff that you enjoy here, because we're definitely going to be having even more fun. And as Conchita just said, we'll be cursing some teams at some point. Neptune won because Neptune's gonna be we're gonna be pretty much be
What's that
Sherlock
team
Holmes.
again? No,
Yeah, it's like,
I don't know what that starts with an A, I think.
Maybe not.
Remember.
Maybe not.
Let's take a look at the overall for Group A though, because this group, I mean, Buriram started off consistent, and just to remind everybody the way that this is going to end up working out at the end of the day, especially after this 6 matches for Group A, the top 4 will end up going to the finals where we will have Champion Rush. From 5th to 10, they'll end up going to survival, and the bottom 2, sadly, we're going to be crushing their keys. They're going to be going home, which Conchita, I know you want to be here with us, but I feel like you really want to be down there crushing keys.
You know, as an EWC newbie, it is so exciting for me to finally see the key crushing live, but also I'm devastated for anyone who has to be in that position. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not happy for that, but yeah, I'm excited.
I mean, it's dangerous down there. I don't know if you know, last week we actually broke the handle and then all the keys just fell into its death. So yeah, I mean, you can have eyes on an absolute chaotic sequence of events.
That's what I'm all about, I think.
Well, let's take a look at the overall ranking that I was hinting at earlier. There you have it. Buriram United Esports with those 3 booyahs, 132 points. And from the top 4 teams that you're currently looking at, Neptune, I mean, Gun Dynasty, they're able to be consistent and be in 2nd place after 6 matches, even though they didn't get any booyahs.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of consistency in placement points as well as getting those elimination. And look at how close they are on Buriram United Esports. It's just the position they're taking as well. And it's one thing that to know for Gun Dynasty, they are like the first time that we'll be in here, and we didn't expect anything from them. So I guess low expectation is an element of surprise for the team right now, and they're just capitalizing on that.
And some of the other squads that are very close to getting that threshold right. We have Loud in there in 5th place. We got Team Falcons as well. Lace, I know you want to talk about them. We're going to be talking about them even more later on, but they do have a gap to make up if they want to make it within this top 4.
Yeah, you know, they got a lot of pressure and a lot of weight on their shoulders winning that club championship, you know what, 2 years in a row. So it's going to be, you know, just something that, I mean, you got to get that more mentality in and try and obviously overtake some of these heavy-hitting teams, but making that lead, you just want to try and get into that top 4.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? Since we're talking about Falcons, let's continue talking about Falcons, because this squad definitely needs to make sure they fully improve, right?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it yesterday. They have a tough group consisting of like EVOS, AGA, Gun Dynasty, and of course, Buriram United. Falcons finished yesterday, obviously, with the 89 points, 22 placement points, and 67 eliminations, but not a single booyah. We want to be seeing those today, Falcons. We will be seeing a lot of pressure on Fire, as he's like the only player remaining from the EWC Club Championship winning roster. So when we're talking about a pressure cooker, on Fire needs to bring it for the rest of the team. And, you know, they will need to lock in with consistency with both placement and elims if they want to be a part of that top 4 conversation, because I think they ended, about 26 points behind the top 4 cutoff. They're about 31 points ahead of Aurora. Sorry, Neptune. So they do have a significant gap to be able to get to that top 4 so they don't go to the survival stage.
To be fair though, I mean, first day was more about reading the game, adapting to each other's strategy. For some team, yes, they set the tone, they came out with a bang, but for some others, it's more like testing the waters, you know, seeing how everybody else is doing. And yeah, maybe today everything might get slightly better.
They dipped the toe in. They need to jump in the water now. Let's do it.
It's kind of chilly. We're going to take our time.
Yeah, I mean, it's warm waters of Paris, okay?
Yeah.
They're just dipping the toes, getting comfortable with things.
You didn't mention about reading the game. Some of it are writing the game because they are consistent enough. Like elimination-wise, it's really difficult for the teams to get that, especially with how tough the teams are right now. But it's more position as well as rotation that they're working on to be able to make sure that they can get in the final circle. And
guys, I believe you all are doing well. मेरा नाम है हरिस और आज हम आ चुके हैं guys Day 2 Watch Party EWC official live from Paris. और guys इसी के साथ अगर हम बात करें तो guys आज होने जा रही हैं ग्रुप A के मैचेस, जिसमें guys अभी आपको शो हो रही होगी ओवरऑल रैंकिंग, जो guys बरिराम यूनाइटेड जिन्होंने guys पहले मैचेस में वार्म अप किया और guys उसके बाद ऐसे guys उन्होंने परफॉर्म किया तो guys मजा आ गया. बट guys हमारी डेमन स्प्राइट तो मेरे हाथ से बाहर हो चुकी है और उनकी परफॉर्मेंस तरह अच्छी नहीं रही अगर वो 12th रहे बट कोई इशू नहीं गाइस हम लोग वॉच पार्टी कर रहे हैं और गाइस हम लोग फ्री फायर ऑफिशियल EWC को गाइस पे हम वॉच करेंगे स्पोर्ट्स को गाइस हम सपोर्ट करेंगे अब भी अपनी फेवरेट टीम को और गाइस टीम्स हम स्विच करेंगे ग्रुप ए से भी और ग्रुप बी से भी आपने हमारे साथ जुड़े रहना है और गाइस इसी के साथ अगर हम बात करें तो गाइस यहाँ पे कल बरेरम यूनाइटेड की गाइस स्ट्रेटजीज उनकी परफॉर्मेंस देखने के बाद गाइस हमें ऐसा लगा कि भाई ये जो टीम है ना ये कुछ करेगी गाइस और आज भी देखने की क्या ये अपनी परफॉर्मेंस कायम रख पाएंगे या नहीं रख पाएंगे और इसी के साथ गाइस यहाँ पे एक गन डायनेस्टी जिसने गाइस आज तक मेरे ख्याल से इस तरह परफॉर्म नहीं किया होगा और गाइस सबको उन्होंने शॉक कर दिया बिकॉज जो उनकी गेम थी जो उनकी स्ट्रेटजीज थी तो गाइस काफी टीम्स ने काफी टफ टाइम दिया मैं अगर गाइस उनकी बात करूं तो गाइस ग्रुप ए की टीम बहुत ही एग्रेसिव और बहुत ही स्ट्रेटजीज के साथ खेल रही है एज कम्पेयर टू ग्रुप बी बट ग्रुप बी की टीम भी बहुत अच्छा खेल रही है हर टीम अपनी जगह अच्छी है बट गाइस मुझे तो ग्रुप ए के मैचेस में ज़्यादा मज़ा आता है तो गाइस मुझे आज मैं बहुत ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड हूँ लेट्स सी यहाँ पे क्या होता है अभी गाइस हमारे होने वाले हैं शुरू मैचेस गाइस 6 मैचेस होंगे ग्रुप ए के गाइस लाइव फ्रॉम पेरिस EWC फ्री फायर ऑफिशियल लेट्स सी गाइस अभी यहाँ पे हो रही हैं कह सकते हैं गाइस अभी ओपनिंग सेरेमनी कह सकते हैं कि अभी गाइस वही चल रही है अभी वो बात कर रही हैं पुराने मैचेस के बारे में गाइस जो हुए हैं कल हुए हैं उनके बारे में कि भाई क्या कमियां थी क्या हुआ किन चीज़ों को वो शौक हुए और किन टीम्स को सपोर्ट कर रही हैं इनके बाद सुनते हैं गाइस
And you don't want to stay down there
बिल्कुल
because
गाइस गाइस टीम्स आ चुकी हैं वॉक कर रही हैं और गाइस आ रही हैं इनके साथ इनके कोचेस भी हैं और गाइस टीम गन्सफाइट भी आ चुकी है
They didn't end up qualifying. So you don't want to do that and you don't want to wait until the end because the pressure will be there and you're going to have teams just doing crazy things. One team that might end up doing just that is none other than Gun Dynasty. Let's see what they had to say.
Hello everyone, I'm Yusel and welcome to day 2. Right here, I'm next to Vega from Gun Dynasty and here's our Zippo, our translator today. So, I heard this is the first time Spanish joined EWC 26 in Free Fire, right? And I wonder how do you guys feel and have you guys prepared everything to get into the top 4 today?
Han escuchado que esta es la primera vez que un equipo de habla
हिस्पा गन डायनेस्टी के मेरे कैप्टन है या पे फ्रंट प्लेयर हैं और अभी इनसे इंटरव्यू लिया जा रहा है और ये ट्रांसलेटर मौजूद हैं और इनसे पूछा जा रहा है कि आप लोगों को कैसा लग रहा है फर्स्ट टाइम आप लोग प्ले कर रहे हैं और गाइस टॉप 4 में आपने पोजीशन सिक्योर किया है
We are really confident. We have worked really hard to get there, and I think this is all about how much you've prepared and that good things are going to happen to you.
Wow, awesome. Sending a lot of lucks for you guys today. And also, one more question I wanted to ask. Do you guys feel pressure when you step into this battlefield? Because there are so many strong teams in our Group A today. And how will you guys manage all of it?
¿Sientes algún tipo de presión cuando entras en la arena? Porque hay un montón de equipos muy fuertes. Y en el caso es el caso, sea, ¿cómo haces para lidiar con esa presión?
No, como equipo y como jugador individualmente no sentimos ninguna presión. Sentimos que estamos jugando como si estuviésemos en casa, como si estuviésemos en un día cualquiera. Y que esto se trata solamente de confianza en uno mismo.
As a player and as a team, we don't feel any pressure at all. We feel like we're playing like at home, like it is any other day. So I think this is all about how much you believe in yourself.
Oh my god, this is so great because you know when you play on a stage it's really different from playing at home, right? But hearing his answer it makes me feel so good about him. So thank you so much for your interview and also thank you to our Zippo as well and good luck to you today, Gun Dynasty. Thank you for your listening and now let's explore more in EWC 26.
Well, Gun Dynasty, we're expecting that same attitude today. Not being nervous, not feeling any pressure, because one team that didn't feel the pressure yesterday was none other than our reigning champions, EVOs. And they started off hot. They were able to get a booyah on the second match. But I know today, for the PS5 story of the day, EVOs, we want to see what they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, of course, because if we go back to what happened on day 1, the highest score EVOs had was in game 2, I think. They got 12 placement points and then 17 elimination points. And that was the best of EVOs, the best game that they showcased the whole day. And I think the teamwork between Russia and the other supports are working so much better towards towards the end. And this actually the thing that separates EFOS from RRQ, if I can say that. They do have the mentality to stay calm, to bounce back from the mistakes that they have, whereas RRQ usually takes a bit more time. It takes them a bit more time to be comfortable, to be okay with the mistakes that they did. And EFOS, that is definitely the reigning champion mentality that they have right there. It was a slow start, but then again, after a few bad calls, they finally started to climb up the ladder and continuously, consistently get the points that they needed.
And something to keep in mind too with this squad is that they are currently in 4th place, right? So I'm hoping that today they're not going to start feeling the pressure right off the bat. They showed yesterday what they were able to do at the start. Did you see them possibly crumbling since they're right there in the 4th place, going directly to the finals or going to survival?
Actually, it's quite the opposite. I'm still pretty sure that EFOS has what it takes to go straight to the next stage without having to go through the survival stage. 111 points, 70 elimination points. That is quite big for EFOS. And I'm not saying that just because I'm Indonesian, obviously, but I do think they have what it takes. Again, it's a slow start, but I think that's where it's different, because when we see the way of the other teams are playing, the other Southeast Asian teams are playing, they came out very strong. Let's say ViderMedia United Esports, they bring out the big guns from the very get-go, but EFOS, they try to at least read the situations first. They try to be comfortable with it, and that's exactly what they did. They got better and better and better each game.
One team, Neptune, that's going to be hunting them down, making sure that they get within those top 4 is going to be none other than Lao, the Brazilian squads. It's not just Southeast Asia here. Brazilian squads have been able to show up, and I know you're keeping a close eye on what Lao is going to be doing in regards to their game skills.
Yeah, exactly. Especially now, you did point out EVOS with the numbers. Loud is now 4 points behind them. So there's a lot of things that they can do right now in this fight. But just to look up on what they did in Val, they're one of the teams who managed to bring in the A124 combination together with Oscar as well as Steffi. So with that alone, you can see the intention. They're not going aggressive. They're just playing it safe. And I guess with that, they're just, as you mentioned, testing water. So this is where they might switch it up to a more aggressive play when it comes to active skills as well as position-wise. But hopefully that will not be read by other teams.
You know what? You cursed the team yesterday. Today we're gonna blast the team.
Yes,
Which team are we gonna blast? I need a quick
again.
answer though. Lace?
Oh my god.
That's a quick. Okay, Neptune.
I need to go back to me.
I kind of don't want to say anything. Oh my god.
Buriram?
No, I'm just gonna
She's gonna go with an Indonesian team. Okay, let's just play it safe here. Let us know in the comments below who you're gonna be going for, because day 2 of Free Fire at EWC 26 starts now.
Okay guys, अभी काउंटडाउन शुरू हो चुका है और डे 2 फ्री फायर ऑफिशियल यहाँ पे स्टार्ट होने जा रहा है। और गाइस यहाँ पे आज देखते हैं टीम सारी गाइस रेडी हैं और कुछ टीम्स गाइस डिस्क्वालीफाई हो चुकी हैं, बट कोई बात नहीं गाइस, नेक्स्ट टाइम सही। अब हम गाइस बेशक पाकिस्तान की टीम को सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं, बट कोई नहीं, हम किसी और को सपोर्ट कर लेंगे, बिकॉज इस मैचेस इतने मज़े के मेरा दिल नहीं किया कि भाई हम वॉच पार्टी ना करें। लिटरली मज़ा आ गया इस मैचेस देख के।
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second day of Free Fire at EWC here in Paris.
The stage is set and our teams have their sights on the grand finals, but the only obstacle in their way, just 11 of the best teams in the world.
After only 6 games today, we will have the name of our top 4 teams who will qualify directly to Saturday.
But remember, Luti, this is the Esports World Cup, so our eliminated teams, their keys must be crushed. And so the battle at the bottom today, it's going to get spicy. So without any further delay, let's introduce your first 12 teams to the main stage to kick us off, starting with Aurora Gaming.
Oh. इनकी भी परफॉर्मेंस कल मिड रही, बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी नहीं रही।
Team Apex Gaming.
इनकी भी गाइस नॉर्मली रही, बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी नहीं रही। क्या बता, आज इम्प्रूव कर लें इंशाल्लाह ताला, उम्मीद तो है इनसे ऐसी ही।
Your reigning club champions, Team Falcons.
इनकी परफॉर्मेंस कल अच्छी रही गाइस काफ़ी, बट हो सकता है आज और इम्प्रूव कर लें।
AGAL.
इनकी परफॉर्मेंस काफ़ी अच्छी रही, इन्होंने काफ़ी अच्छा खेला, एग्रेसिव खेला।
ViderMedia United
इनकी तो गाइस परफॉर्मेंस पहले बिल्कुल भी अच्छी नहीं रही, लेकिन गाइस फिर इन्होंने जब कमबैक किया तो।
Your defending champions of EWC, EVOS Esports.
Your defending champions of EWC, EVOS Esports.
2 champs back to back champs. Global finals, and now EWC 26 started off strong with a 1-1 game. AGAL.
इनकी guys performance अच्छी थी, but guys ये बहुत अच्छा perform कर सकते हैं.
DRS Gaming.
Damage fight disqualify नहीं हुई. मुझे गलत खबर सुनाई गई है guys. इनकी भी टीम अच्छी थी, लेकिन चलो देखते हैं आज क्या होता है guys.
Titan Esports Club. Loud Snickers. And finally,
इनकी टीम guys बहुत अच्छा खेला, दोनों टीम ने, Loud ने और Gun Dynasty तो guys attitude, full attitude guys, full attitude.
don't forget, if you want to survive, your only goal is to avoid these bottom two spots.
Words couldn't be truer. 12 teams enter the Gadia City grid, but only 10 will make it out alive. The stakes just got higher, so it is time to make your move. It is time for day 2 of Free Fire at the Esports World Cup. Four of the most dominant teams in the world will step onto the Gadia City grid for the first time today. Teams who swept through their regions and left their opponents in the dust. But now they stand at the base of a mountain faced with an almost impossible climb. Well, let me take this opportunity to remind you that this is your chance to instill the fear of combat into your opponents. Don't hold back, don't hesitate, and trust in your teammates.
Damage comes through, and Loud, all they have to do is just rush forward, and they're completely surrounded from every single angle. And Loud, once again, a booyah!
MIB are lost, they turn it around, and Bobs is the last one standing. It's going to be very difficult, but also Bobs struggling along with the help of MIB are lost, and it's going to be MIB are lost getting the very first booyah of Group B. Looking for the final player, Kororo looking for that recovery, and they won't be denied as Buriram pulls away the third booyah of the day to take the #1 spot on the leaderboard. And Lion are losing players one after another, and as that happens, even Dix gets eliminated, and Games King was the last man standing. And it is going to be MIB lost getting the final booyah of Group B's Day 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Free Fire at Esports World Cup 26 here in Paris, France. And you know what day it is? It's day 2 of the group stage, which means that hopes will be crushed and dreams will continue to be built for the survivors. We have 12 teams from Group A, but only 10 will move on forward to either the survival stage or the grand finals, depending on their standings. My name is Husky, and I'm joined by Lucifer here with some 6-7 performances from some of these teams, but that's not the spot you want to be in. You want to be in the top 4 because you want to skip the survival stage, which means you skip 10 games.
Exactly, it's going to be very crucial that you get yourself out of this grinder of a survival stage. Well, we say there are 10 games, but then those 10 games are not going to be easy at all because everybody's looking forward to another 4 slots tomorrow. Hopefully they don't go there, they make it out here itself. And especially we've been talking about Group A, which has teams being the toughest ones, the ones who've been the champions. And if they walk away into the finals itself, the other teams will have a very big trouble moving into the survival stage.
Yeah, and that's ironically something that a lot of these squads are hoping to happen, right?
Maybe.
They are hoping that the heavy hitters, the front runners, make it directly to the grand finals, so it makes the odds for tomorrow better. And usually you don't want to hope for your opponents to win, but in this case, for some of our hopefuls up here, some of our first timers, they want that to be a possibility. They want to increase their chances. And speaking about chances, Gun Dynasty, they're looking good, they're feeling confident, they believe that the hard work will pay off, and I personally believe in that as well. Yesterday's performance was great. Now we need to see them push it through the finishing line.
Yeah, we had this conversation earlier as well, right? Southeast Asia versus Brazil. I think that's where the entire competition right now seems here at Esports World Cup 2026. But Gun Dynasty Dynasty for Latin America. They're coming out of the mix, out of the blue, and nobody's able to read them. And especially for a player to tell that we're not at all feeling pressure. This is the usual stuff for us day in, day out. That is unbelievable in such a high intense, high octane stage.
Yeah, I can't believe. I think it's like the mental fortitude and the prep that they had, right? First time stepping onto such a big stage and having such confidence. And why wouldn't you be confident sitting in second place, just behind Buriram United Esports, who are at the top, of course, with 3 Booyahs and 80 elimination points. But if we take away that 3 Booyah, Gun Dynasty isn't that far behind, right? They are only 3 eliminations behind Buriram United Esports, followed by AGAL, and then our defending champions on 25, which is EVOS, Lao Stickers as well, with 2 Booyahs under the back. Team Falcons catching up in the later stages of Group A. The top 6 look incredibly strong, but then we see the separation between 6 and 7.
पूरे किए अपने points और guys यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं, अभी आप देख सकते
58
हैं.
points is where Aurora right now start off, and that's almost around a 30-point difference. This is not going to be an easy jump up, and that is the reason we've been talking about. Like, yes, at the end of the day, we're going to be going to the Crusher to take away dreams. It could happen for some of them. They have to jump up, and in terms of those dreams, has to be the South Asian teams. That is Titan Esports Club and Demon's Pride. They've not at all had a great start. At least for Titan Esports Club, they have eliminations working for them. It's the placement points that they'll start working towards. Maybe there's a move up. They manage a chance towards the survival stage. I think that is a hit they have to look forward to.
Yeah, you gotta get into the flow state for the next 6 rounds. And we actually, even during some of the team intros, we saw the South Asian teams, right? You can feel the nervousness, right? There is some tension in the air, and hopefully it breaks when they hop into the lobby. Yesterday was all about getting comfortable, right? Getting the seats warm, and hopefully when you sit back down, you are in the zone. You are feeling, comfortable enough to let yourself go and just play freely. And I think that's the toughest part. People always say that you play the best when you have nothing to lose, when you play freely and have fun, but it's pretty tough when you have so much on the line.
But Gun Dynasty, it doesn't seem like they're thinking in that direction at all. They've been completely keeping themselves away from that thought process where there's a lot to achieve, lot at stake. This is our time on the stage. They are not thinking about that. They're making sure they put the best performance of Free Fire ever seen on the biggest of stages, and they're able to deliver. Sitting at the second spot, 3 eliminations away from the team at the very top, tells you the caliber that they're walking here in Paris and looking forward to their global title, taking it away from EVOS. EVOS, yes, got their booyah, but is it going to be enough for them?
And I'm going to take it a step further, Lucifer. There are 3 points difference in terms of elimination compared to BRU, right?
Yeah.
So the main difference is the placement. Because if BRU have 1 less booyah, Gun Dynasty would already be at the top. And actually it is closer than it is. And if you put that into perspective, it's a very scary thought. You said that, for a team that is on this stage, they play freely with as if there's no pressure at all. For a first-timer, that is even more insane. So right now, I think hopping into today's games, the map rotation are going to be slightly different. Yesterday we did have the more Indonesian heavy favorite rotation in the second half, but today we get double purgatory. And you know what that means? Brazil and Thailand are going to be elated, but we'll start it off again with the classic opener of Bermuda. Let's hop into game 1 of Group A on day 2.
And this is where every team needs to start, especially the ones in the middle order as well as the teams at the bottom. If they don't start making points now, they will not be able to catch up to the race, especially because now the Crusher is in front of everybody. And the map starts off evening the entire playland into a half.
And even when you look at your screen, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the amount of booyah some of these teams have
We're gonna
acquired for
पहला मैच
themselves.
शुरू हो
I
चुका
say
है
some,
ग्रुप
but 6
ए
booyah
का.
split amongst 3
Guys,
teams.
let's see
We are, of
अभी
course,
क्या
holding
होता
the
है.
record, so
Buriram
if we
United
ever get
guys
into a
आ
tiebreak
चुके जिन्होंने
situation,
guys
they
3
will have
booyahs
that
ली
innate
हैं.
advantage. But most Free Fire tournaments, Free Fire matches, we didn't have to go down that path because it is separated by eliminations. So those gun power are going to be very, very important. We see some early skirmishes already.
early
The players getting hyped up. DRS, a team that wants to get out from the bottom, starting off right.
The real soldiers. They've looked decent. I really like how they played. We were talking about them yesterday when we were sitting backstage and looking at their games. They start off well. They have their one-off games, and they did that yesterday as well. EVOS right now on a team that needs to get to the top spot. That is going to be Falcons. They're firing on them. Eliminations already. 3 total down. This tells you why they're the champs, why they're the defending ones right here on
EVOS का नॉक कर दिया है. और
But now
गाइस हम बात
challenge
करें
coming
ऊपर
in
शॉट
between.
लगाए जा रहे हैं. क्या यहाँ पे किल ले पाएंगे? क्या यहाँ पे किल ले पाएंगे? क्या यहाँ पे किल ले पाएंगे? और बिल्कुल नहीं किल पूरा कर देना चाहिए. तो किल पूरा ज़्यादा कर देना चाहिए. काफ़ी अच्छा खेला. टाइम का एडवांटेज था बट यहाँ 3 प्लेयर्स आगे थे. और ये फैल्कन के प्लेयर की तरफ से मेरे हिसाब से तो ये गलती हुई कि एक पॉइंट उनको हाथ से मिल जाता है किल का ना. तो किल फिनिश कर देना चाहिए था.
Continues to rack up points by picking up stragglers, this time from Paradox Gaming. And even Windy himself catching Alu out in the open, but again the Mini Uzi is the superior weapon.
What an individual battle being laid down by DRS. Looking very confident today, and this is how they played their game number 1 yesterday as well. And I think this is very consistent performance coming in, especially for the team from Nepal. This is something that I expected when I was seeing these South Asian teams play out, and DRS are delivering. Can they deliver to the top 4 is a question, but right now another 1v1, and this time Prateek, he will not be able to take a hit because this time it's going to be Team Apex Gaming, who we spoke about, slowly make a comeback, and it's already started off finding the very first. And that's going to be Shoto, but his trouble is still not done. Around the pipes, it's going to be Stroex, who is trying to trouble him, but Shoto out in the open, not the best position to be in. But there are reinforcements. That is KD God. The IGL, he has to stand with the team today, and he finds the opening.
And you had
because then domestic की fight हो रही है AGL के साथ गए हैं काफी टीम ये सारी टीम की बहुत अच्छी खेल रही है आज देखना पड़ेगा गाइस किस टीम का प्लान है बात करें तो गाइस 2 प्लेयर हैं कैसी लगा के यहाँ पे साफ है भाई दूसरे प्लेयर AGL के 3 AGL ने भी गाइस बहुत अच्छा खेला था मेरे ख्याल से ये वही टीम थी जिसने गाइस बुया नहीं किया था बट यहाँ पे किल्स गाइस किए थे so guys ये मैच basically 7 है ठीक है because 6 की काउंटिंग चल रही है और गाइस मैच फर्स्ट ही है ये अभी गाइस और मैच भी होने और गाइस वो डीपी के जैसे आ चुके हैं गाइस जो कि
no eliminations, rather have lost 2 players. A slot will be finally revived, but KD God on the other end still troubling DRS.
Let's see guys.
Titan Esports Club versus Demons Pride. Both these teams are at the bottom. Both of them need points. But in the mix of this, the last player, Jun, gets found and Aurora out again.
That was scary. For half a second there, TEC going for the chase and almost gave away a 1v2. But thankfully, not a reality. Now Apex Gaming continues to hunt for Pratik. Actually getting the bison on the KD God. Instantly a recovery there. KD God going down again.
Short लगा के down कर दी गई थी ये GG guys players बहुत अच्छा
there is some recovery towards the very end, and thankfully TAG continues to thrive.
4 eliminations in total. KD God with 2 of his own, and this is what we need being delivered by him. He is the pillar of the team, like we were talking about Mafia from Total Gaming yesterday. KD God does that for this team, and as I said, slowly but steadily they pick up pace, and it seems like they are moving in the direction. Yesterday we did see one of the game where they did find eliminations around the double digits, but it's not going to be enough. Today they have to rake up a lot of points because the difference at the top 4 already sits at triple digits.
Yeah, gotta keep up to that, live up to that name, right? Yeah. If you call yourself KD God, you better rack up some numbers here. Even for Titan Esports Club, they are now currently in 11th place. Last we checked in on them and the overall standing. 4 points already. That is, you know, in all honesty, in a lobby that already started slower than what we saw yesterday, is a good thing, right? My personal prediction is that teams like Purdue, they are going to slow down a little bit. They are already in such a comfortable spot. They're not going to be hunting for much. And this is actually a very good opening for teams at the bottom or the middle of the pack to start racking up some points.
Hands down, that's right. This should be an opportunity that the teams in the middle order should pick up points, and that's what Paradox is trying to do. Already found an opening on Team Apex Gaming. Will confirm the elimination, KD God, but quickly being hit upon. That's Shoto putting down Sneaky for his sneaky approach on
performance यहाँ पे टीम TAG की तरफ से यहाँ पे गलत प्लेयर को रिवाइव करने की कोशिश की बट रिवाइव करना पॉसिबल नहीं हुआ बट गाइस अभी टीम PTX वर्सेस TAG हो रहा है 3 वर्सेस 2 हो रहा है और क्या रिवाइव करने के लिए पॉसिबल होगा इनके लिए बिल्कुल गाइस अभी स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर को बता दूं रिवाइव कर लेकिन काफी प्रैक्टिस होती है बिल्कुल गाइस यहाँ पे टीम TAG की उसी तरह परफॉर्मेंस बरकरार और यहाँ पे गाइस 6 किल सिक्योर कर चुकी हैं और गाइस अभी 9 पे हैं अगर थोड़े से किल्स और होते तो गाइस ऊपर आ सकते हैं अगर हम बात करें गाइस जो सख्त मुकाबला इस वक्त चल रहा है वो है गाइस टीम बुरेराम यूनाइटेड AGL EVOS टीम GD लाउड और फैल्कन का गाइस इनका गाइस मुकाबला बहुत सख्त है बिकॉज फैल्कन की आज परफॉर्मेंस देखने के बाद मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि टीम फैल्कन ऊपर आ सकती है गाइस अभी EVOS वर्सेस बुरेराम यूनाइटेड होने जा रहा है और मेरे ख्याल से टीम बुरेराम की तरफ से गलत रश कर दिया गया है रास्ते के ऊपर ओके गाइस मौका बिल्कुल मिल जाएगा मैंने कहा कवर मिलेगा बट यहाँ कवर नहीं मिला फिर से
most of the work, EVOS Divine, or EVOS Esports in this case,
अगर हम बात
not
करें
really
गाइस
looking for a
ईवोस
fight, right?
अभी
They
यहाँ
lost
पर
Russia,
चुके हैं
and that's what EVOS
PDX
has been doing, I think,
वेट
yesterday
कर
as
रहे
well,
हैं
when
यहाँ
they
पे
were
गाइस
sending
गन
Russia out
डायनेस्टी की भी
on a
फाइट हो
one-man
रही है
mission.
ओ भाई
Yeah, and
यस
he's
हो
been
गया
holding
हम
the
बात
fort
करें गन
really well
डायनेस्टी की भी
alone as
फाइट
a
हो रही
sniper.
है
But Team Apex
और
Gaming
गाइस
right
में
now
गन
holding
डायनेस्टी
their
वर्सेस
own
टीम
side. Jordan showed
TAG
off
हो
putting
रही
down
है
Gun
यहाँ पे गाइस अगर
Dynasty.
हम
We
बात
were
करें
thinking about this
नो
trouble. That
डाउट
might
यहाँ पे
strike
टीम
Gun
TAG
Dynasty.
बहुत अच्छा
Shido trying
परफॉर्म
to
कर
run
रही है
away.
इंडियन
Will
टीम
that
ने
be
हसन ने
possible?
कल ही
He's
परफॉर्मेंस
already
दिखाई नहीं
spotted
करा आज
out
बहुत
last man
अग्रेसिव
standing
खेल रहे
right
हैं
behind the
और अगर
glue.
बात करें
Finds
इनके
an
सामने कोई
opening,
बच्चे नहीं
but
है
it's not going to be
इनके
enough.
सामने
His
गाइस
numbers are not that great. And Team
गन
Apex
डायनेस्टी
Gaming
के
find
दो प्लेयर्स
another.
जो
That's
गाइस
going to
अभी
be
वाइप
10
आउट हो
total
चुके हैं
eliminations
और
for
बेन का
them.
एक प्लेयर
And
वाइप करने
Benel
के
is
लिए
the
अगर हम
last
बात
man
करें गाइस
standing.
गन डायनेस्टी वही टीम है
Benel,
जिन्होंने गाइस ऐसी
coincidentally, is
परफॉर्मेंस
also
की
the
इसकी
star
वजह के
of the
सारे भाई
team as he gallops
एकदम
away to try and
उनकी
find
आंखें
some
खुली
safety
खुली
net.
रहेगी
Dinoculus
और गाइस
used
हम
to
बात करें
scout
सारी
out
टीम्स
the
आज
journey in
बहुत अच्छा
front.
खेल रही
For
हैं
now, it is
और
clear.
अगर हम बात करें
Might
तो
run
अभी
into Taku
पाकिस्तान
if
की
he
टीम
goes
से भी
slightly
उम्मीद है
further,
अब
but
देखते
don't
हैं
have
गाइस
to
यहाँ पे
do
क्या
so.
होता है
Vending machine available. GD not out just yet. And this was something, a concern that you brought up before the show
तो
started,
ये
right?
हमें
That
DP
Gun
टॉप
Dynasty,
की
they
तरफ
had
से
a
रिवाइव
great
दिया
start.
जा
They were
रहा है
really confident.
और अगर हम
But
बात
there's
करें यहाँ
a
पे
chance
गाइस
that they drop out of
फैल्कन
top
टीम
4
रश
today.
कर रही है और
And
यहाँ पे
this
टॉप
might
पीछे की
just
तरफ
slowly
मौजूद है
manifest itself. We check back with them in just a little bit when Mandara getting absolutely fried in that hut with Limit watching from the side as well. The rest of Falcons about to surround their prey. Mandara with the Trogon, only good on a one, but no confirmation there as Falcons take him out.
Losing players. Demon Sprite, they need
टीम
elimination. They
डेमो
need
स्प्राइड काफी
points.
मसले
We
में पड़
spoke
चुकी है
about
बिकॉज
this.
यहाँ पे गाइस टीम
Titan Esports Club
फैल्कन
at
यहाँ
least
पे
picked up,
टॉप
but
की पर रश
Falcons on
कर
the
रही
other
है
end,
मैं
they
से
know what
रिवाइव
they
तो
want.
शायद
They want
टॉप
to
ने
get to the
पॉसिबल
top
कर
4.
लिया
They
था
are right now
और
missing on
अगर हम
top of the
बात करें यहाँ पे
charts,
चार
and that's
प्लेयर्स
the
आगे की
reason they're
तरफ बढ़ रहे
running
हैं
right
टॉप
now.
पीछे की
And
तरफ
they've already
मौजूद है
spotted
बैक पे
top
जा रहे हैं
16.
पीछे की
This
तरफ
has been
भाग
laying
रहे
down
हैं
glue
क्योंकि
walls.
बस वो चारा
Yororo
नहीं है इस
troubled
वक्त
a little in the
बिकॉज अगर
meantime,
वो
but
नहीं
I don't
भागेंगे
think
तो
top
गाइस
16
उनको
will have
कुछ
an
भी नहीं
opportunity.
बचेगा
On the
गाइस
other
चार
end,
प्लेयर
Team
वो सामने
Apex
फैल्कन के और गाइस
Gaming.
पहली टीम
They
दो टीम वाइप
again
आउट हो चुकी हैं
re-challenge
टीम
Paradox and
पैराडॉक्स
put the
अब
entire team
पैराडॉक्स की
out.
हो चुकी है और एक और
And
टीम भी
talk
गाइस हो
about a
चुकी है
strong start as we check in. The STC
और
replay
यार जब
here.
अगर बात करें यहाँ पे
Demon's
टीम डीपी को यहाँ पे
Pride.
फैल्कन ने
Unfortunately,
स्पॉट
it's caught
किया
in the
और
cross,
गाइस
caught in
पॉल चेस
rotation by
स्नाइपर का इस्तेमाल यहाँ पे गाइस बिल्कुल दो प्लेयर्स को नॉक किया और अगर हम बात करें गाइस दो प्लेयर्स को नॉक किया गाइस फिनिश किया और अगर हम बात करें गाइस टॉप को भी यहाँ पे टीम फैल्कन ने गाइस एलिमिनेट करके इसी तरह अगर हम बात करें गाइस डीपी की टीम जिंदा हो गया बट गाइस डीपी काफी ज्यादा किल्स दे रही है जो कि बात सच है यहाँ पे गाइस काफी ज्यादा टीम ज्यादातर डीपी को ही यहाँ पे स्कोर करने की ट्राई करती है और यहाँ पे टीम लाउड भी आ चुकी है और गाइस काफी अच्छा मुकाबला देखने को मिलेगा गाइस लाउड का एक प्लेयर और डीआरएस का एक प्लेयर आमने सामने हो चुके हैं ये डीआरएस का एक प्लेयर रिवाइव करने के लिए मेरे ख्याल से टीम्स को आया था और उसको पता ही नहीं है हमने यहाँ पे दो बॉलर्स से स्कोर फाइट ले रहे हैं अभी गाइस मैं बताऊंगा मतलब बिकॉज गाइस यहाँ पे कोई गाइस यहाँ पे डीआरएस को गाइस एलिमिनेट कर दिया गया स्कोर कर लिया होगा मेरे ख्याल से और यहाँ पे गाइस बोल्ड मेकर लगा दिया गया और गाइस फाइट शुरू हो चुकी है टीम फैल्कन वर्सेस लाउड लेट्स सी गाइस क्या होते हैं पर लाउड टीम की नो डाउट बहुत ही अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस रही है अगर देखते हैं क्या होता है बिल्कुल जब लाउड के एक और प्लेयर को स्पॉट कर लिया गया वहाँ पर अटैक किया जा रहा है डाउन कर दिया गया टीम फैल्कन ने भी मुश्किल में जाती हुई नजर आ रही है अब बात करें तो कहते हैं टीम फैल्कन यहाँ मुश्किल में है बट यहाँ प्लेयर को रिवाइव कर लिया गया है एक लाउड का प्लेयर पीछे घूम के आ रहा है उसने फैल्कन वालों ने उसको स्पॉट तो कर लिया बट यहाँ पे लाउड की बहुत ही अच्छी कोऑर्डिनेशन जो प्लेयर पीछे से बंदे को स्पॉट करता है वो उनको एलिमिनेट कर देते हैं अगर हम बात करेंगे जब टीम फैल्कन मैंने हम लोग जिसे बताया था बहुत ही ज़्यादा मुश्किल में पड़ चुकी है और प्लेयर एक भागने की कोशिश की 30 HP से बचे हैं और उनके स्नाइपर ही हैं लेट्स सी गाइस क्या होता है
What a fight that was to hold it off and easy pick to put limit over there.
teams रह
If
चुकी
he
हैं
did
और
not fight because
एलिमिनेशंस
limit
की
was
बात
already
करें
helping
तो टीम
his
फैल्कन
teammates out with the sniper, and that is the reason taking out
एलिमिनेशंस के साथ और
bits
गाइस
and pieces of
PAG
Falcons worked
नो
out for
डाउट
Loud. First
बहुत ही
take
एंड
down
लेवल
CQC
परफॉर्मेंस
player
के
and then
साथ
go for the
13
one in the long
एलिमिनेशन
range.
के साथ
Made
मजबूत है
it
क्योंकि इस वक्त
wonders.
अभी हाईएस्ट है इस
AGL
मैच
on
की
the other
गाइस
end sneakily, they've been pulling up eliminations for themselves, 7 eliminations, and I think in the top 4 so far that we've seen teams, AGL are the ones who are very consistent, safe and sound, and not troubled by any team so far.
Same as BRU, right?
Yeah.
Both of these teams have been chilling a bit. We say that they have have been taking it slow, but then when you look at the eliminations, AGL actually has 7 eliminations off screens, and most of it is just picking off stragglers and catching teams in rotation. But most of these teams, they were able to get those revives in, and this is why we still have 9 full squads, almost 9 full squads less for Demon's Pride. BRU now making their rotation just past Pochinok. A good chance that they run into GD again, who has been giving them some problems yesterday.
Gun Dynasty
Here's इसी के साथ हम बात करें टीम DP यहाँ पे गाइस काफी पोजीशन लेके वेट कर रही है और गाइस यहाँ पे काफी अच्छा मार सकती है बट यहाँ पे गाइस टीम लाउड आ चुकी है और गाइस टीम लाउड के साथ आमने सामने होने जा रहा है और गाइस नो डाउट लाउड बहुत ही अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस के साथ मौजूद है और अगर हम बात करें 3 प्लेयर्स हैं और गाइस के लॉक करके इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है टीम लाउड के ऊपर गाइस नो डाउट लाउड की परफॉर्मेंस देखने के बाद तो बहुत मुश्किल है कि गाइस ये जो बीच और टीम है गाइस जो हेलमेट पहना हुआ है गाइस ये इसने कल भी पहना हुआ था ड्रेसिंग में से नहीं चेंज किया गाइस नो डाउट की परफॉर्मेंस बहुत अच्छी है यहाँ पे पाकिस्तान की टीम इनको टक्कर ले पाएगी देखना पड़ेगा गाइस
This is a very classic pincer, right? You surround the compound and suddenly
गाइस
whoever is
हमें
in
अच्छी
those
रोटेशन
buildings
दी
becomes
जा
the
रही है
one that is trapped. DP are starting to
ये
feel
वो
that pressure.
हमें किधर मौजूद है
I
हमें
think Gun
गंडा
Dynasty,
नीचे की तरफ
while they
मौजूद है
did
हमारे
not feel any of it
PEC भी
yesterday,
मौजूद है बट गाइस
it is about
TEC को
qualifications.
नीचे
It's
उतरना
about
पड़ेगा
keys at
बिकॉज
stake. It's
फंस
about
चुके हैं और
making it
गाइस
to
वो
the final.
टीम
And right
फलकन
now, even
बहुत ही
though
गंदा फंस चुकी है और गाइस नहीं छोड़ेंगे इनको और ये हाइट का बेनिफिट बहुत ज़्यादा लिया जा रहा है यहाँ पे टीम TEC की तरफ से
unfortunate, one of the eliminations was stolen away, but they still have the eyes on the Falcons. The verticality has changed. Falcons are on the ground, whereas Titan Esports Club are on the roof right now.
Yesterday we got very generous circles, but I think today things are going to only get worse. Look at the final. I mean, the circles right on the open, right? If you are not good, if you are not comfortable with the CQCs out in the open, if you are slow in the decision making, that is going to be the difference maker. And I think it's a very good time to put our team to the test. Who can survive a circle as brutal as this?
और राइट साइड में टीम भी मौजूद है बट यहाँ पे गाइस इजीली ये लोग एक रोटेशन लेके अच्छी निकल सकते हैं बट उसके मखा पड़ेगा जैसे हम बात करें टीम TAG वर्सेस AGAL द मोस्ट aggressive team I have ever seen guys इनकी गेम प्ले बहुत एग्रेसिव थी इनके नेट्स इनका अटैक गाइस इनकी डिफेंस बहुत अच्छी थी कल और नेट में ऐसे कल एक भी गोया नहीं किया था बट गाइस अब हो चुका है अटैक शुरू यहाँ पे टीम TAG की जानिब से अगर हम बात करें तो टीम TAG नो डाउट बहुत अच्छा खेल रही है अगर हम बात करें यहाँ पे देखते हैं क्या होता है 4 वर्सेस 4 की ही फाइट है या 3 वर्सेस 4 की शायद इनका एक प्लेयर पीछे की तरफ से नहीं साथ आ चुका है ये गाइस TAG KD गॉड लेट्स सी गाइस क्या होता है पीछे गाइस AGL के प्लेयर को बहुत सारे डैमेज लगा ब्रो और गाइस वो बहुत कम एचपी का बचा फिर वो गैलर अटैक कर दिया गया और एक प्लेयर को नॉक कर दिया गया गन डायनेस्टी गाइस वाइप आउट हो चुकी है यहाँ पे मेरे साथ छोड़ चुकी है मैच बन गया अगर इसी के साथ यहाँ बात करें TAG का भी प्लेयर नॉक हो गया तो लेट्स सी गाइस क्या होता है ओके शॉट और गाइस यहाँ पे टीम एपेक्स गेमिंग भी एलिमिनेट हो चुकी है
They held that ground even though they were at a disadvantage at the edge of that peak. They were still holding it off against Team Apex Gaming. Would have had an opportunity. But I think that being a little spread out became a disadvantage for them. But right now, spreading themselves around, we saw already the rotation coming in from now. The smartest one that ahead of Demon Sprite, and now they have vision.
और यहाँ पे गाइस आगे जाएगी जो टीम को यहाँ पे गाइस EVOS का सामना करना पड़ेगा और गाइस पे लाउड टीम यही चाह रही थी कि गाइस जो भी हो किल्स मिले लाउड को ही देखना पड़ेगा गाइस और बिल्कुल एक ही लॉन्चर से यहाँ पे टीम फैल्कन भी एज अ मजाक छोड़ चुकी है और डैमेज स्प्रेड भी गाइस यहाँ पे एक लॉन्चर से गाइस काम तमाम हो चुका है अगर हम बात करेंगे यहाँ पे बर्मिंघम यूनाइटेड यहाँ पे राइट टीम इसी के AGL EVOS लाउड और TEC का एक ही प्लेयर है जो एक सर्वाइवल मोड पे है और सर्वाइविंग करना चाह रहे बिकॉज दैट पोजीशन इज सो इंपॉर्टेंट और अगर टीम लाउड बहुत अग्रेसिव खेल रही है पूरे नाम यूनाइटेड की तरफ आ चुकी है पहले उन्होंने DP को वाइप आउट किया अब उन्होंने कहा कि अब हम करेंगे पूरे नाम यूनाइटेड को वाइप आउट लेट्स सी क्या होता है शुरू हो चुका है टीम TEC के प्लेयर के लिए अच्छा साबित हो सकता है वो निकल सकता है बढ़िया AGL भी आ चुकी है अगर तो वो TEC के प्लेयर को सपोर्ट नहीं करते जो कि गैस कर दिया और बिल्कुल यहाँ पे टीम टाइटन स्पोर्ट्स मेरे साथ जाके छोड़ चुकी है छोड़ के और गैस बर्मिंघम यूनाइटेड थोड़ी सी मुश्किल में पड़ चुकी है बिकॉज आगे से भी गैस इनको डंग मारा जा रहा है पीछे से भी डंग मारा जा रहा है इंतजार किया जा रहा है गैस बिल्कुल रेस्ट किया गया बहुत ही अच्छा इस्तेमाल बट गैस यहाँ पे बर्मिंघम यूनाइटेड भी गैस वाइप आउट हो चुकी है यहाँ पे गैस मैंने टीम लाउड और AGL और बहुत ज़्यादा अग्रेसिव बहुत अच्छा खेल रही है गैस यहाँ पे AGL के ही जीतने के चांसेस हैं बहुत ज़्यादा क्योंकि गैस उनकी बहुत अग्रेसिव गेम प्लेयर को नॉक करके फिनिश कर लिया गया और यहाँ पे गैस टॉप 2 पोजीशन हो चुकी है टीम EVOS भी वाइप आउट हो चुकी है लाउड का लास्ट प्ले हो चुका है क्या ये 1 वर्सेस 4 कर पाएगा बहुत ही मुश्किल है गैस बहुत ही मुश्किल है
this fight.
Okay.
He brings it down. Players are falling down. And eventually
Yeah, the
it'll
bats
still
are
be
running for
AGL. They have the numbers and they get their very first booyah.
Very first
Yeah, they were
booyah
team
in the group
AGL
stage.
and
And even
all
without
that.
it, they were in the
बहुत
top
ही
4
ऐसे
spots.
खेलते
So
हुए
imagine
आपको
when you give
expect करेंगे,
AJL
बहुत
such
अच्छी
a
gameplay
big
करते हुए।
boon.
क्या
Fantastic
बात है यार,
performance.
क्या बात है।
We saw the hold earlier on
मुझे आज
where
लग
they
रहा था
came
कि
back
जिस
from a
तरह का होगा
disadvantage. And it was
थोड़ी
all
बुरे
because
होंगे
of
को
one
बस
minor
थोड़ा टाइम
detail.
लगता है
Barrow
क्योंकि पहले
surviving
वो
in the
गेम
back
खेलते हैं
line.
थोड़ी सी
If you don't break the backbone of AGL, they will break you instead, and that is exactly what was achieved. Them and Lau unintentionally working together to get rid of BRU, but then AGL found a perfect engage onto Lau.
Yeah, I think there was an opportunity where Loud, if they had a chance to recover themselves after the fight, being at the edge of the zone, it could have been their booyah as well. They've already pulled so many. Yesterday, it could have been an added or third today. But AGL's position, we spoke about it, even in a position where they had to climb up the hill against Team Apex Gaming. If that did not work out, we would have seen AGL go out very early on. But they held their own, they held their front there, and it worked out. And now they've gotten their very first booyah here on day 2, especially being at the top 4. Hurts the middle order.
But there are definitely flowers that need to be given to some of the teams that are in desperate need of points, right? I mean, TEC, TAG, while they came out strong, DRS as well, right? Some great stuff happening, but let's listen in to what AJL were talking about leading up to that booyah.
पीछे से भी उसको पड़ी आगे से भी पड़ी तो बलराम यूनाइटेड कुछ कर नहीं पाई हमेशा जब भी बलराम यूनाइटेड का जोन नहीं पकड़ पाती वो गैस वो फिर उनकी वीकनेस एक जोन है मेरे ख्याल से I think मेरी ऑब्जर्वेशन है उनकी जोन बहुत बड़ी वीकनेस है गाइस
Again, another performance from AJL that I think
game
shook
could be first
the
time,
opener
but
of
it was
day 2.
guys.
But I would say, right, this goes back to the potential of our secondary scenario. If this trend continues, then might as well let them go through. Let them go through, and we have some of the teams who are chasing for their qualification to grand finals play tomorrow. An extra 10 games, but I guess without these heavy hitters being a big threat, it makes the chances slightly better.
It makes the chances slightly better if you think about the survival stage, but as you looked at the performance right now, the bottom dwellers, the last two who were there, even Titan Esports Club and Demon Sprite, they try to make it towards the top 6 teams, meaning they're acquiring placement points, they're getting eliminations, and they're trying to get themselves out of that elimination threat, meaning the middle order, now it's completely dicey. So you don't know who's going to get eliminated. So better be wary. Either you strike towards the top 4, or you don't know if you're going to get eliminated or not.
Yeah, there's always that safety net, I believe, for any Free Fire competition, right? If I can't take that top spot and qualify, at the bare minimum, I make it out alive to the next stage. And so if you can't aim for top 4, aim for top 10.
Demon Sprite
I'm not sure if it's going to be as easy as it sounds or as easy as we make it sound. Because look at Gun Dynasty, they were barely able to get 2 points in this game. That tells you day 1 and day 2 can be completely drastically different. It cannot replicate the same performance. And that's what even AGL, to get their very first booyah, allowed to go out like that, tells you that teams are slowly, strategically planning their championship. They want
यहाँ तक ये लोग पहुँचे हैं ऐसे तो नहीं पहुँचे बट कोई नहीं कर मुश्किल होता है प्रेशर होता है इसमें खेलना बट फिर भी हम इंतजार करेंगे अब उम्मीद कर सकते हैं तो उस उम्मीद पे ही दुनिया कायम है
filling their arms, they're trying to get some haymakers in, and then maybe after 6th round of just mindless brawling, they decided, okay, that kind of hurt a little bit. We got to slow down. And the teams that actually made it work are the front runners. AJL, very patient. BRU, very patient. Laos Snickers, very patient. And patience paid off.
Yep. Completely. The top 4 teams surviving till the very last, and also being the last 4 surviving teams, that patience, that holding game off, actually playing as survivors and knowing that they don't have a lot at stake to go out. Whereas Gun Dynasty, something that we were talking about, if they miss their performance today and if Falcons rise up the ranks, they might get pushed down. We already spoke, yes, they have high number of eliminations, but that's not going to cascade and help them out to directly qualify if they don't put up a decent performance today.
Yeah, I would say that they do have a safety net with the points they have, and let's see how much longer they can lay in that bed of roses. We're going to let them lie down and rest for a little bit, as we will be right back with more Free Fire action.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
What an intense opener. AGAL secured the first booyah of the day. We are now back on stage with me, Conchita Caroline, and of course, we have Yunsul here. That was exciting, right?
Yes.
What a game, what a match. I mean, what even is that last circle, Yunsul?
That was crazy. That was really intense. Imagine we have 5 teams, very strong teams compete with each other. And lastly, only one survived, which is AGAL. And so incredible. I have been watching them since yesterday until today. And finally, they got their booyah. I was waiting for that for the whole day.
Yes, and what's amazing is that AG actually scored the highest elimination points the other day in one game, and that was the 5th game. They got 19 points. I'm pretty sure they were able to be doing that again today, hopefully. But seeing what we just saw in the first game, I think things are looking quite promising, right?
Yes, from what I can see from yesterday, they have been playing very stable. Even though there is no booyah, but still, as you said, the elimination points was on point, on peak. They were doing so best, and today, finally, after game 1, they got 1 booyah. But still, the first ranking here is Buriram United Esports, which is 149 points for the first ranking. Well, this is our stage hit for the after game 1. Thank you, Conchita, and thank you for your listening. Let's head back to our casters.
Thank you very much to our lovely angels, Yunsu and Conchita. We got a lot more in store here at the Free Fire at EWC 2026. Again, Paris can only get more and more lovely with these actions as we quickly drop into map number 2. And this time we're going to change it up a little bit. We did mention earlier on that the map rotation will be slightly different today. And AGL have started off strong with a booyah. So let's see if they can keep that train going.
It is Solara that we drop down to. And another opportunity for the teams at the middle order as well as at the bottom. And you can already see a quick swap because of how Titan Esports Club played. And we mentioned this. They need placement points. They instantly got it. And now up.
And now they are in a great spot. Yeah, we cool. We complete each other's sentences. But I will say that whatever we sort of like set up yesterday is slowly coming true, right? We talked about Demon Sprite needing to come up. And again, picking a fight with Paradox early on. It's Aswap that gets wiped out first. Enrique, we see here, he has great survival instinct from game 1, but top 16 is going to hunt him down. Aswap instantly brought back. TEC now joins the fight. That is a team that we've been watching out for at the start of day 2. Najat in the fray of things. Rahat also coming in, and Blaze slicing through the ranks of Demon Sprite.
Oh no, Aswap in the mid-air has been spotted by Gun Dynasty, and he will be taken down. Demon Sprite are losing players once again. Paradox get eliminated in the mix of this. And Paradox, who just got pushed to the bottom 2, will also suffer another loss right at the start of our Game 8, Match 8.
Talk about kicking them while they are down, and they are out. Paradox, a very unfortunate early exit, completely swarmed by multiple teams in the earlier stage. Whether it's desperation or a change of pace for some of the bottom dwellers, it has been working out in favor of teams like Apex Gaming, and Demon Sprite, Titan, DRS. I mean, even for GD, able to pick off a couple of stragglers on their own. But it does come at a cost of teams who are just half a second slower to respond.
DRS want to be the quickest one to respond right now. They did spot AGAL, but they take the fight to Titan Esports Club, and Najad is taken down. And it is the wisest calls, I feel, right now, coming in from DRS, and they're making a run for it. Rahat and Blade, they just have the stairs that they are being protected by, but DRS, they are on a charge. They want to go for a hit. Hadu was backing off, uses the chrono, and is now safe and sound, but at least this gives away the position of where the players from Titan Esports Club are. But it's only these two. The other players are in the other direction, revived, and are healthy.
Pratik is actually getting pressured as well, forced to take the zipline away. Takuri actually getting tagged in the meantime, was brought down. But this was sort of like the demise of Paradox Gaming. A very quick and painless one. At least they take the bottom spot. Aurora still in this game, which is a blessing in disguise if you are a Malaysian team supporter here. But Blade just absolutely popped Rasha. Great shot from afar. Rahat call in for reinforcement. Aurora this time stand their ground and will not be taken out by AGAL in the earlier stages. Jun up the stairs. Cypher barricades himself safely. And Axel with the follow-up. Cypher is out.
He'll be confirmed. It's up to Barros and Dew, who's in his flight mode right now, dropping in air. If he gets spotted out, trouble will strike. And Aurora, they need a game like this. They need a recovery game, and it might happen on Solara, where everybody's forced for a fight. Barros tried to hold his own, but he'll not be able to. At least the revive happened. Therefore, there is still chance for AGL, and they don't have to be worried about. However, Aurora, they needed these 4 crucial 4 eliminations.
The good news for Aurora is that they are not close to the bottom 2. But bad news is that they technically only have 5 games to play, because game 1 they didn't really get anything done. So the catch-up game, there's a lot more urgency for them compared to the rest of the teams. And one of the teams that is in no rush at all is EVOS. And so far playing on Solara, it's one of the maps that they are slightly more comfortable in. Loud Snickers playing a Vidistroax, completely found out in the open. Loud Snickers with the first point.
Loud are playing, I think, a brilliant game so far. Ending up in the top 4, making sure they stay the top 4 way that they are in. And it continues that they make it to the final as well. We've already been seeing their counterparts from Brazil. MIB are lost in Fluxo. They're keeping their toes matched up, and I think that's what Loud want to do. And if that's a majority of all the Brazilian teams who made it here to EWC, all going to the finals, there is a big chance for them to walk away with being called the champions.
It's a lot of pressure also, because when we look at even I want to say from the early days until now, you would expect teams from Thailand and Brazil, if they qualify to a tournament, they're expected to all make the grand finals. It is quite the weight to shoulder, and especially for Loud, who has been on the big stage. They've missed out if they're not, they don't have 100% attendance, but when they're there, a lot of eyes are on them, right? Yeah. Aside from Fluxo, like Loud is the second team that you sort of want to make it to the finals and give a good match, but it has always been so close.
But Aurora also want to make that happen, and that's the reason this challenge happens. However, Jules lost, and it's Asha coming in. No way! Lue has also down confirmations. Aurora losing players one after another. That's Asha for you. He wants again, he was back in action as Zil spotted, aim god puts him down, and it's the Axel. Can he put the chopping block out of EVOS, or will he be found out? Damage done, Hetfi lost, his position completely compromised. It's just the boulder in the direction that he's running away. I don't see a vending machine to help. No team to help out. And Axel will just try and bite time for the time being, because EVOS have a distraction.
Yeah, Demon's Pride bailed Aurora out of that. It was a missed opportunity. Aurora had that bit of a mechanical error, caused them to be in this spot, but again, Demon's Pride, who are also hungry for some points, they ended up being the intervention that Aurora desperately needed in times.
This is what I was talking about. You see how the bottom teams are now fighting for eliminations. They will go for it. The top 4 teams are already getting their best.
And that is the best part right now of this lobby. Desperation is a double-edged sword. Yep. And he has been empowering some of these teams so far. The risk, definitely not as great as the reward. Good ratio there. Even TAG finds himself on the feed. Just a quick reminder at the end of this, 2 teams are going to have their keys fed into the crusher.
Yeah.
Always a sad side, because man, such great accessories. But that's the nature, the brutality of a competition. Let's see what this circle brings us, because game 1 was brutal. In game 2, a little bit more tame, but plenty of open areas.
Open right now is going to be a fight between Buriram and EVOS, who just got revived. However, it's only one of the players getting stuck between the lot of Buriram and Eco Drain. And I think he'll be found very soon, but team finding players are tagged. That's Team Apex Gaming. More eliminations coming their way. They're climbing up the ranks, making sure if they have an opportunity, but they need a lot more. They need points closer to 30 in total. Maybe a Booyah also needed if they want a run going towards the top 4.
And the bailout earlier on, the unintentional one, gave Aurora time to bring the whole squad back, right? We look at the separation between Falcons and Aurora. It is 49 points. Made worse by the fact that Aurora didn't really get to play the first game, so it is a tall task to expect Aurora to catch up and find a tie, but it's good enough to remain in the top 10 and make it to survival stage tomorrow. As DRS looking for a rotation, Loud doing the exact same thing, but they might be beelining straight into Demon's Pride.
Demon's Pride, they just got eliminations from EVOS. They have a compound that they're holding. Looks to be a better game. Loud have just found their one here. AGL, in the meantime, they're finding the players of EVOS, and EVOS seemed troubled after they were about to convert on Demon's Pride. Wherever they tried to head out, they've been spotted, taken down, and eliminated. Abax being chased by AGL, and he will be put to rest as well. And that is EVOS losing their players. One last survivor is Aim God. Only gets coins now, but where is the vending machine? On one end, there's Buriram. On the other end, AGL. And right in front now, Demon's Pride as well as Loud going in for a fight. And it's going to be Loud putting Azwab down. And the entire squad within a whiff gets eliminated.
A full blitz from Loud again. Their execution in these quick hits are so efficient. They make sure that the fight ends within 15 to 20 seconds so that there's time for them to recuperate if the second team does arrive. It's something that has defined Loud's playstyle in competitive Free Fire. The Wonder Key gets brought back, but that's the most that Aim God could do for the team. And right after that, Axel finds a pickoff. And it's the same situation that EVOS frequently find themselves in, playing the survival game.
As of now, I think that's the mantra for them. They're unable to find a footing to just go for fights, and they've been just chased by teams. Put them down one after another, and DRS wanted to start out strong. The real soldiers using UAV just get a grasp of information around. They spot another and they do destroy. Strox, he is the sniper. He's the one who finds a lot of value. But so far for DRS, at least today's start in game number 1 was decent. And out of that, Solara right now hasn't found much.
And it's a team that is also a first timer on the EWC stage as well. Finally, getting what people say they deserve over their counterpart back in the region. AGAL now facing off against BRU, the same face-off as round 1, but we might find an early ending as Jonah with a good hit on the deal. Saifa still pushing forward with support from his teammate Wasana though, will win that fight, and this time BRU, they will show AGAL that once is enough. Barros is poking it out of that, but has to go into the blue with no coins at all.
You could see how clever that fight was. They used the Steffi, no throwables that could have been dropped by the side of AGAL, went in for a 4-forward fight, guns all out, and Buriram had the better of it, and AGL could do nothing of it. It's just very strategic play coming through, and this is what makes champions. And you mentioned Buriram, they want their cabinet with an EWC trophy, and this could be one of their opportunities.
Yep, it's the final piece of the puzzle, and how poetic it is that the final piece of the puzzle is fitting the key into the plaque. It's going to be a lot of stories being completed. I think, again, for BRU, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for that to happen. Alu ends up stepping on a landmine. That should be the end of DRS as Guasha finds Pratik. Point number 7, number 8 for the Brazilians. DRS, they just have to try and put up a fight, but unfortunately, not enough firepower in this case.
Trap mentioned it's time for Brazil. It's time for Loud to get this trophy, and he is doing it for the team. Playing together, the last man makes a run, but how far can he run? Loud have another challenge. That's going to be Aurora this time. Back and forth. The compound was cleared by Loud. They took Demon's Pride out. DRS came for a challenge. They were pushed out, and now Aurora. Is the story going to be any different? Loud are going to just get eliminations after eliminations, and highest so far here on Solara, they're sitting at 9 in total.
The property value of that compound is only going to keep on increasing with so much of visitations. KD got, with the help of Shoto, was able to take out Barros, and that spells the end for AGAL in game 2. 8 teams remain. Falcons still healthy. Sharu getting chased down. It's Gun Dynasty not really having the best of time as Pina finds 3rd points for his team.
One last survivor from Gun Dynasty. That's the only one right now. But on the other end, Aurora, this real estate, as you already mentioned, it is just Loud's. They've written it down, they've cemented it, and it's going to go down ages, at least here on Solara. And they're at the dead center of the circle, so nobody's going to push them out. Maybe the circle itself decides to make a very hard shift, and then Loud would have to change the position.
And even then, wow, they don't have to. But the circle, consistent with what we've requested, at least for today, give Loud a bit of a compound, but most of the safe zone is out in the open. Dinoculus is scanned out, so someone knows that Loud is in that compound with 12 eliminations to boot. BRU should show up on the radar any time now. I believe the Dinoculus, it's a good chance it came from EVOS or even TAG, who are now making their appearance. Can Loud hold back the 3rd wave of challenges?
Team Apex Gaming, they need these points more than Loud. The challenge has to be very critical on the hit. DRS were in the same compound, but Loud were able to turn it around. And yes, a little active in terms of their approach, going a little ham against Loud while there were landmines all across. And even right now, Gatling gun being placed, the Minotaur could be trouble. Riptide Rhythm on the other end coming in from Falcons to break the defenses of Buriram. Spotted out in the open was Jonah. He backs off with his teammates, making sure this fight instantly doesn't replicate to eliminations on either end.
Team Apex Gaming a lot more patient. Something that I think is going to be the main difference maker between what we saw from Aurora, right? Well, a lot more in your face. Wanted to make more moves. Falcons also starting to feel a bit of that jealous DRS, planting themselves on the low ground as Ray out with the open would pick up by Guaksha. So that's the 13th point for Lao Snickers. But the rest of EVOS, even if they get through Lao, they still have to do a DRS. Apex almost dead.
That was a big surprise. Nobody expected him to be behind enemy lines. And Rasha being the distraction. And he's still fighting. Abax gets another player from DRS, but they instantly put glue walls and stall that at least for the time being. Abax, can he find more? Russia on the other end, these two players on two different directions trying to corner a team, and Russia spots Falcons. Damage being done, finds the knock. Can he find a confirmation? No, again, blue walls being blocked on any approach coming in from EVOS.
And Rasha himself, 6 out of the 7 eliminations this game for his team. Him and Apex completely separated, and Trap will take care of his teammate. The Wonder Kid left to his own devices, and now the circle closes in. Even La will have to start evicting the compound. Riptide Rhythm goes absolutely wide there from TAG. So Falcons not really threatened, and they have such a good spot perched up on this boulder.
It looked like it was going to be loud earlier, but right as now, as you mentioned, yes, it is Falcons. They have the best position to hold every team off. The circle's about to close in the next 10 seconds, and also it's shifting. Teams better be ready for this. Wolverine gets taken down by Moshi. A very small slight angle where he found Wolverine down, but I think it should be an instant recovery, not much to be worried about. But Team Apex Gaming, they have to put them down right here at the hut. But Buriram now decide to go challenge and get closer. Falcons trying to hit shots, but none of them connect, and Buriram make it safely.
And the result between BRU and TAG comes down to how much can Falcons change the course of this battle. The glue wall from BRU will give them some space to work with. Wasana being given one more glue wall as he did ran out of resources, but BRU decides that they can't bomb rush this. In fact, it's TAG that responds onto Falcons. Rashak gets freed up, and now he books it for the building where Loud and DRS are perched at. Launchpad being used as well. BRU now arrives on top of the roof. The reposition enabled by the chaos. BRU now in prime spot.
However, Loud are taking away those eliminations, stealing it away. Damage being done by Buriram, but Loud, they are getting it all. It looks unstoppable. Russia is in a very compromised position. So is Keroro from Falcons. How drastically this fight changed from Falcons winning it to almost now losing it, and now Team Apex Gaming, they're making a rush out in the open. Keroro has nothing to say, and Shoto finds it. And right now we have the best 5 teams looking forward to points. Falcons are out of the race, and Team Apex Gaming now move to that prime position.
They will have to relocate because the circle decides that that will be the case. EVOS eliminated down to top 4, and TAG ever so close, and so far they will be unbothered just for an instant, as DRS is going to be the one that faces resistance. Lao, attention put onto the captain Jonah. BRU under pressure. Wasana responds from long range. They need to keep Jonah alive, and Jonah is the anchor that cannot break, but Lao is putting on immense pressure by just rushing in. Aluk is taken now off screen by Trap, and BRU able to retreat to a safe space. TAG now needs to catch up.
Just like how out in the open Buriram made their rotation, even Loud managed to, with a plethora of blue walls, lay down the land, and they walk across. They're closer than ever. Team Apex Gaming in the meantime, just because Loud decided to rotate out earlier, now they have an opportunity. Jonah finds Takuri, the last one from DRS, and now Team Apex Gaming have an opportunity because Loud and Buriram are close together. However, Get High, he is shooting the players of Team Apex Gaming and not letting them slide down the hill.
This is the final lap for Apex Gaming, and hold my hand, Lucifer, because we might be witnessing history here. The top 3 teams, 2 of the front runners still with the full squad left alive. But Team Apex Gaming have the high ground. They have couple of moments, couple of instances where the blue zone will make the difference, and TAG, they are in such a prime position to get this pickoff.
Loud. They decided to make a rotation earlier than Buriram. Buriram had the position and Loud out trap because the zone's closing in. Glue wall's not working out. Getting on. Finds the opening.
Can they do it here? TAG. The faster they get rid of Lau, the better they are for him. And Lau, you know that the Brazilians, they don't back down and they are ready to take that fight. The cluster would have been nice if it connected, but now Loud are out of vision. And BRU into the fray.
Team Apex Gaming, they have an advantage. Loud have a safe spot. BRU are out in the open.
Riptide Rhythm.
It's breaking their defenses one after another. Shoto has had a great start in this game. 5 eliminations already, and a KD got hit again. Wasana is down. Make it get higher. Fulvin finds one more. Team Apex Gaming are also assisted by Loud. Loud are taking away the eliminations, and Team Apex Gaming will not be happy about this.
This is looking good. TAG have a chance. Jonah being pressured by Lau. A distraction, they eliminated. TAG in a spot to make history here against Lau. BZP in the front. Shota with the first one. Can they find the conversion? Lau down low in hell. Guaksha is down. BZP to follow. Team Apex Gaming makes history and gets their first ever booyah on the world stage.
This is a very big booyah for Team Apex Gaming. We spoke about their comeback. They start slow, but they make it happen. And especially to do it at Esports World Cup 2026 Paris, the biggest in stages. And Team Apex Gaming for India make a big booyah.
Yesterday we talked about this. Dreams come true one step at a time. And I'm glad we held hands for this moment. What an achievement it is for the region. They needed some time to warm up, but once those seats are warm, TAG entered the flow state. And with impeccable execution in the final circle, they took advantage of all these openings given to them. Openings that are very minor, that cannot be missed. But they were on the ball, Lucifer.
We spoke about this, right? Prime position, real estate, all of it. One after another, every team wanted it. Loud started it off, Buriram went for it, and then finally Team Apex Gaming found the very best spot. Falcons, this is why we were talking about it. They were the ones who should have been a booyah here, but they messed up in their movement, and it was Team Apex Gaming took that same position away from Falcons, took the last player down, and they get this booyah, and thankfully, they managed to do it in such a manner where they were ahead of the zone, up the hill, and this time they get it.
Incredible stuff here. You can really hear the passion radiate. The crowd, they were feeling it. They knew that once we got into the top 6, TAG is a prime candidate for that booyah. And this is what the Esports World Cup is all about, man. Unpredictability, the volatility, but this final sequence, TAG, I could rewatch this all day.
All day, all long. Brilliantly played out. Yes, they tried to pick an opening, but it did not work out as brilliant as they wanted. Holding it off, KD, God, Sayajan, Shoto, the big man. What a play coming in from their end. And yes, this is it. This is a very big thing for them and the whole of India to look at.
They are going to be incredibly proud, but we're going to let these teams again prep for the upcoming games. And for now, we're going to hand it over to Carol on the stage as she has something for us.
Hello everyone, I'm Carol Bombshell and we are back on stage and I'm happy to have this company here by my side, Nameless from AGL team. Thanks so much for your time. And yesterday we noticed that you guys got so close so many times to get a booyah, but unfortunately you didn't. But today, happily you guys managed. How did it feel to get your first booyah in the competition?
ก็เมื่อวานนะครับแต่ว่าหลายครั้งเหลือเกินที่เราเกือบจะได้บูย่าเนี่ยแต่ว่าไม่ได้สักทีนะฮะแต่ว่าวันนี้เนี่ยเราได้ปลดล็อกที่ได้บูย่าแรกแล้วเนี่ยฮะรู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับครับก็รู้สึกปลดล็อกครับแล้วก็รู้สึกว่าทีมพวกผมพร้อมแล้วที่จะเป็นแชมป์ Yeah, I feel like we have already unlocked something and I think we are ready to become the champion of this tournament.
I like your confidence. That's definitely the way to talk. Okay, so after finishing last year in the 5th place and in the 30 in the global finals, you are getting closer to win an international tournament. And of course, together with your whole team, does it feel like this is the moment to get over the line?
ก็ในปีที่แล้วนะฮะเราได้จบไปทั้งที่อันดับที่5นะฮะแล้วก็อันดับที่3นะครับใน global tournament นะฮะในปีนี้เนี่ยเราขยับเข้ามาอีกขั้นหนึ่งแล้วที่จะได้เป็นแชมเปี้ยนนะฮะรู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับ
ก็รู้สึกว่าปีที่แล้วทีมนี้ไม่มีผมครับปีนี้มีแล้วน่าจะเป็นแชมป์ได้ครับ
Yeah, I think like because last year he not in the team yet, but this year he's here already, so everything should be fine now.
Okay. Are you sure? All right, I trust you. Okay, so there is really some tough teams in the way, of course. Buriram, Fluxo, maybe Arlos, all look very strong. Who do you think is the biggest competitor right now?
ก็ตอนนี้นะครับมีหลายทีมเลยที่บอกว่าเป็นตัวเต็งนะครับไม่ว่าจะเป็น MIBR นะฮะแล้วก็อีกหลายๆทีมครับคิดว่าตอนนี้ทีมไหนเป็นตัวที่เป็นคู่แข่งที่น่าจับตามองมากที่สุดครับ
น่าจะเป็นฟุกโซแล้วก็เราครับ
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Fluxo and Laos, which is like the most competitive team.
Only Brazilian teams?
Yeah.
Okay, I like your answer. Thanks so much for the interview. Good luck in the next matches and the rest of the day. And that's it. You heard from Nameless from AGL team. And I'm back with you guys at the studio.
Next game this cycle.
At this year's Esports World Cup, we're bringing you all the games you love, all the coverage you crave. And for the first time ever, a completely unfiltered behind-the-scenes broadcast.
And he absolutely destroys him.
I don't think he ever saw that coming. That was incredible. This means you're getting the real coverage.
I think that was
with raw opinions.
I'm just gonna have to say it. I think they have their heads up right now.
They're just
It's absolute.
Yes, from broadcasters who don't even know they're being recorded. They don't know they're being recorded?
Oh, what do you mean? That is insane.
What this? Nicole, I said, please, lactose free. I can't deal with this.
All right,
Not here, not now.
We gotta look at his game. I'm sorry, is this a good idea?
This is what we have. All you have to do is read the lines.
They
All right.
the bed.
They're absolutely the bed. I don't understand how this keeps getting allowed to take control of the space and nothing is done about it.
We're gonna get fined. There's no way that this is gonna work.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We do the thinking, okay?
I cannot believe this job on this team. Every time you thinking, oh my, they got the game, and
You know what? We're actually just gonna be bringing you the same great coverage once again this year. Nothing else. First KC fans try to sabotage me, now my own agent.
I hope our reactions for that game were not recorded because there's a lot of stuff that we were saying that's not going to be able to be broadcasted. But India finally shows up here with the Booyah, Neptune.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see them play because even to set the expectation from yesterday, Lucifer did mention that they have a slow start and then they move up, but also in the last two games, they plummeted. So hopefully this is a different story right now, starting it off in game number 2 with that Booyah. And it's good elimination as well coming from them. It was almost the same story earlier wherein they could have taken a higher spot, especially in game 1, but it's just unfortunate that, so the story is AG, AL, as well as Team Apex Gaming, they scan each other with the binoculars. So AGL was just waiting for them to rush in. And the moment they did, they got annihilated. ViderMedia almost got them as well, but it's a good thing that on game number 2, Team Apex Gaming managed to recover.
Yeah, but always, I have to appreciate how Loud is also doing so well in the first and second game. I mean, that last circle was amazing. Yes, they were in a bit of a compromising situation. They got lower ground, but they managed to make it work. And I mean, getting that points, 19 elimination points, and then previously 14 elimination points. This is the consistency that we need. And of course, we expected from a Brazilian team.
And while we were talking about Loud, one of the things that we were mentioning too, that we especially were talking about Neptune, is their positioning, right? Yesterday, at one point, it looked like they were just getting gifted, but you can't say gifted when this squad is continuing to just be consistent in their location and their placement during those circles.
Yeah, most of the time they go and choose the middle of the map. That's where they get information, and not everyone is following that path. So pretty much they are in a safe spot already once everyone is in position, or as soon as the next phase covers the following one, that's where they will be able to rotate onto the edge of that circle. So it's a good strategy for Loud Stickers right now, but I think even Buriram United in game number 2 tried to do the same thing. They went in the south, and that's when they met AJAL and take them down.
Yeah, and what's interesting for me was that battle between, was it Tag against Buriram? Buriram was trying to do something at the very last minute, but unfortunately, they were the one who got wiped out instead. And that was actually kind of shocking to me because Buriram United Esports, we all knew day one, they were amazing. They were super aggressive. They set the tone, but something went wrong today. I haven't seen the same Buriram that I saw the other day.
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting this. Most of the time, like, we have a three-way battle, especially of this. We're expecting a ring around the Rosie, but I guess they didn't find Rosie at that point, and they met against each other, and Tag was just on that high ground, took down Buriram United together with Loud, and great elevation, though, has been done. Though it is Tag who initiated it, we were expecting that Loud might be able to go in quick, but Team Apex Gaming was just Apex Predator on that final 4v4.
They were literally all over the place, up and down. The movement was very dynamic, very amazing, very impressed.
And for Buriram, I kind of want to go back to that one because this squad, maybe they set too much of an expectation yesterday, would you say, Conchita? Because they did end up getting 3 booyahs yesterday. I don't think any of us expects them to do that again today.
Yeah, well, again, it's not just yesterday, but it's Buriram United Esports, because we all know that they are capable of doing so, and they do come here with a lot of, preparation and vengeance and redemption. So it's not just that we set up a high expectation. We know they can exceed even the expectation that we give them. That is why today I'm actually not feeling it yet for Buriram United Esports. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I think they could do so much better.
I'll have to find out though, because so far the signature is to show them what they have, but be a threat on the board. And Buriram United, like yesterday was just a booyah. Now it's just the numbers, elimination. So 17 elimination in the first game, 18 elimination in the second game, despite of not getting that booyah, total points rather. The 10 elimination at second game, despite of not getting booyah, they're still in that number 1. But again, some teams are creeping in slowly, and they're making way on what Buriram United managed to pull off, studying their opponents and then bringing them down.
Yeah, especially with what we've been talking in regards to the gaps. If you're just tuning in, if this is for some reason the first time you're watching Free Fire at EWC 26, let me just remind you what's going to happen after these matches are done for Group A. The top 4 will be moving on to the grand finals. And let's take a look at those top 4, because right now, EVOS is that cutoff point. You can see 139 points. They do have a healthy gap there to Gun Dynasty, Team Falcons as well. This is one team that I think we were expecting to step it up in the second half, especially coming up soon. Maybe that will be the turnaround for that squad, because they do need to make up points.
Yes, but I don't think 5 points is that healthy, actually, especially with the rest of the game that we have. I'm just not sure that this is quite safe yet for EFOS, so they still have to try somehow to be more consistent, at least in getting those points. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, look at that. Century mark in terms of elimination for Buriram United as well. And a lot of teams are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to follow the path that BRU has been playing, but it is difficult right now. Most of them are just playing it with placement point, positioning wise, but BRU just understand what they need to do right now. They are countering. They're going against the flow.
Yeah, but it's also getting ridiculously dangerous for Paradox Gaming. I mean, let's take a look at that. 48 points. They fell behind Titan Esports Club in just 2 games today.
I mean, there's one thing about Paradox Gaming. Hopefully, they let go of the aggressive reign because I think that's where they're failing. Back in the regionals, they're the most aggressive team out of Africa. Now, that's going against them. Like, your aggression, especially with teams who have all eyes on you, then you will be the target in most instances. So they just tone it down a little bit, play with placement, and then towards the end, if you get that booyah or close it, then that's where you'll have that confidence to get all those eliminations.
It's so close too, and those teams towards the bottom, I mean, we just saw what Tag was able to do before this performance. Yes, they have had some good performances, but they were still there within distance of those teams towards the bottom. The last two will end up getting their keys crushed here at Free Fire at EWC 26. Now, can they possibly get a booyah? That's what we're gonna be looking at, especially those teams towards the bottom, because they got absolutely nothing to lose. They know what's at stake, Conchita. Yeah. Either they get a booyah or they go home.
But one thing that I do realize today is something has shifted between all of the teams that are playing in the A group. Yesterday, it was all about aggressiveness. It was all about showing up, showing strength. But today, they are playing it a little bit more strategically. They are trying to be more consistent in terms of collecting elimination points instead of just, showing up with a bang.
You gotta get those elimination points.
Yeah.
You wanna get that booyah. That's just what we're after. I mean, yesterday we even had a competition in regards to those booyahs, and we've been seeing the comments that you guys have been posting on social media. You guys actually heard us use that hashtag EWC, and if I'm not mistaken, we might be featuring some of your guys' stuff right now. I'm intrigued to see which teams are gonna be biased towards. We're totally not biased whatsoever here on the desk.
So not. We're supporting everyone.
It's not like we want all the top teams to continue to do great and take that performance. But you can see it right there towards the bottom. X-Tunis says Trap is the best bomber in the world, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, let's see though, because there's a lot of bombers being in here. And this is something that we were talking in the background as well. Though there are a lot of chances of the M79 grenade launcher to be used, not a lot of them are pulling it off. And not even every team is putting in the Steffi to prevent all those grenades. So I hope that we see those great bombers right now being capitalized, because there's not so much of going against them.
It wasn't just Lucifer having the confidence in Tag. The fans are out there with the confidence as well. Whether Tag will qualify, which by the way, right now they're looking like they will be qualifying to survival unless they continue to have some more booyahs. Then maybe we have a different narrative here. They will play like beasts today.
But I so agree, because then again, this is the Esports World Cup. Of course, we have to play our best. We have to give the best mentality, the best performance. That is what we expect and nothing less. So yeah, that's exactly what we want from each and every single one of the team that is competing today.
I love this prediction there towards the bottom. AGAL, Loud, or Evos. They didn't want to pick one. They're like, you know what? Let's throw 3 of the best teams out there from Group A and see which one actually ends up winning the championship. And I don't blame him, because right now there's so many teams being able to step up. We're looking at Demon Sprite on the screen. I know Pakistani fans were expecting a lot more out of this squad that is the champions from Pakistan. Can they possibly do it? That is the big question mark. What are we going to be looking for them to do different? I know we've been talking about the playing styles that we've been seeing out of their squads, maybe playing a little bit too passive, maybe being a little bit too aggressive. Neptune, what are you looking for Demon Sprite to do?
Well, we know that for Demon Sprite in their region, they can be aggressive. They can be tactical as well. But again, there's a lot of teams who has read that already, who has been years ahead of them. Yep. So Demon Sprite just needs to stay in the edge right now. Use all the utilities that they have, especially those binocular skills. If they want to get a safe spot into the next phase or each phase of the circle, use those R-funds, use those binocular scans, so that at least you'll have a clear view of whether you're heading into danger or just in a safe spot. But that's only that. Not only that, there's also those launch pad that is available depending on the map or which map we're playing in. If I'm not mistaken, the next map would be in Kalahari. So this is where those hook guns will be important. Their entry and exit would be much quicker compared to just walking around or running around.
Now, one of the teams that Demon Sprite is currently hunting down is none other than Titan Esports Club.
Yep.
Conchita, what do they need to do to make sure they don't get hunted down and end up on those bottom 2?
Of course. I mean, the trend that we've been seeing, not just from today, but the match day yesterday, is that you don't actually have to secure a booyah. You can just consistently earn the placement points, that elimination points. So I think that should be the objective that Titan Esports Club is focusing right now, instead of trying to, get into a fight, a huge fight with any other team. Just try to make it more safe, more strategic, because I think if we're comparing skills and individuals, they do have what it takes to endure the game, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Titan Esports Club, I think they need Blade to be as sharp as ever. It needs to be...
Wait. Just gonna take a second. Can we please go back to that player? Because he was just relaxing. He was in the mood. If I'm not mistaken, that was AJAL. And they were saying that now, after the performances that they saw, they're looking to be the champions. They're feeling that confidence, and boy, are they. Sorry, Neptune, we had to point that out. Now you can go back to it.
It's just chilling like a villain right there. Anyways, going back to the point, I mean, Blade needs to be as sharp as ever. Get all those eliminations in, get that information on those rush. But again, it's not those careless rush. They need to be strategic. Kalahari is one of those wherein they can capitalize on their snipers to find their position first. But again, it's one thing it's a good thing that we are now on day 2, because they can review what happened in day number 1, especially in this map of Kalahari. And well, despite of not having that much of a gameplay in specific maps, at least they have a general idea of where the other teams are dropping or rotating.
Let's take a look at the overall once again, just to make sure everybody's aware of what's happening right now. Gun Dynasty, I feel like today we really haven't seen the Gun Dynasty that we saw yesterday.
True, because not only they haven't secured a booyah, but the points that they keep on getting the other day, that is something that we haven't seen today. I think that is exactly the problem with the way that the other teams are playing. They're no more showing aggressiveness. They are playing it more smartly, and I think that kind of messed with Gun Dynasty's plan and strategy. So it's time for them to adapt now, because actually they were one of the teams that were very disruptive the other day. Now they are the ones who has to follow the rules, quote unquote.
Yeah, exactly. I think the day number 1, they have that element surprise.
Yeah.
Gun Dynasty just brought in the big Gun Dynasty.
See what you did there.
Yeah. Well, this is uncle. But anyways, going back. So they have that element surprise. They were not caught off guard from yesterday. They have a lot of potential of elimination. But now, give these teams a day's rest, a day's chance of studying your opponent. And this is what you have. Like, look at Gun Dynasty. They only got, what, 4 or 2 points out of game number 1, and then only 6 points in game number 2. It's not looking good for them, but it's a good thing that they managed to stack it up from yesterday.
And right now, with the team being in 5th place, they are about 15 points away from EVOS. EVOS did start off good in regards to some of the placements, but we haven't really seen the booyah out of EVOS at any point. Remember, these are the defending champions of EWC, especially for Free Fire. Can the pressure end up getting to EVOS?
I think there's a possibility that, yes, the pressure is on. They are feeling it right now, because just the other day I had a conversation with some of the casters, and they do tell me that I think it's going to be very difficult for EVOS this time, just looking at how they're doing at the regional, how this year has been for them. But deep inside, I do believe that they know exactly what they're getting themselves into. I mean, we can actually see the maturity coming from some of the players, especially Russia. We saw how he did that one-man show thing, right, at the previous game.
Yeah.
He handled that really well. We didn't see him as a teenager. We saw him as a veteran that is just know exactly what to do and can handle any situation. So hopefully, if we're talking about pressure, as the reigning champion, they should have had that nailed down.
But then again, I mean, if they're just reliant on Russia just ending it, that will be the situation over and over again. He's the last man standing. The rest of the squad will just be waiting to be revived if they can be revived. And that is getting tougher and tougher. One good story, though, for EWC is after that game number 2 from yesterday, they are getting double-digit points, all throughout up until today. So that's the trajectory as well as the consistency that we're looking for 4, Booyah will catapult them a little bit higher to make them secure the top 4.
And for Team Falcons, you got to remember, for Team Falcons, they're currently in contention not just to be able to be the champions of Free Fire at the EWC 26, they're also in contention for the club championship. So they want to be able to get those points. They have won in the past here for Free Fire. Which team and which player from Falcons would you like to see step up in this last matches for Group A?
Well, Limited 7. Limited 7 is one of the best snipers that we have in Southeast Asia. Team Falcons has been using him as a threshold when it comes to snipers. But it seems like he is being hampered right now. Again, this current meta is a meta of the snipers. The current update is the update for the snipers. And even Limited 7 is not stepping up. Only the other teams are the ones who's stepping up. So I don't know what strategy is in there, and we're not even seeing him in those close quarter combat. So hopefully he'll be able to step up, lead a squad, because we know the frontliners will be able to cover him.
Yeah, for Falcons, I mean, we saw players yesterday being able to step up, and I'm hearing that we actually have an interview with the Falcons. So let's see what they had to say earlier in the day.
Hello everyone, right next to me is On Fire from Team Falcons, and I also have Kay for our Thai translator as well. Alright, hello On Fire. So this is our second day, and I think it's gonna be very pressure for Team Falcons because you guys must get into top 4. Have you guys prepared for anything?
ก็วันนี้นะถือว่าเป็นการแข่งวันที่2แล้วนะฮะแล้วก็ค่อนข้างเป็นการแข่งที่เป็นวันที่ค่อนข้างกดดันเป็นอย่างมากสำหรับทีม Falcon นะเนื่องจากว่า Falcon จะต้องขึ้นไปถึงท็อป 4 ให้ได้นะฮะได้เตรียมตัวยังไงมาบ้างครับ
ก็เล่นไล่ยิงแบบวันแรกแล้วไม่ได้กดดันเท่าไหร่ครับ
Actually, there's not that much pressure for us. Like we're gonna play like the same as we played yesterday on the first day, so we're gonna go hunt everyone down one by one.
Okay, I understand his perspective, but overall, yesterday, we can see a lot of changes in the roster. So what happened? Are you guys trying to test as much as you guys can during the tournament so you guys can do your best at the finals day?
ก็เข้าใจนะฮะว่าต้องการจะทำอะไรสักอย่างเมื่อวานนะแต่ว่าเนื่องจากว่าเมื่อวานเห็นมีการปรับแผนการเล่นค่อนข้างเยอะเลยอยากจะทราบว่าทีม Falcon ต้องการจะทดสอบอะไรบางอย่างหรือเปล่าฮะหรือว่ามีแผนอะไรอยู่ในใจไหม
ก็ไม่มีนะแค่บางคนยังน้องในทีมบางคนยังกดดันเล่นไม่ได้ก็เลยปรับเปลี่ยนกัน
Actually, like it's just like some of the players in our team like are not get used to the playing on the stage yet, so it's like it's a bit of pressure to that player. So, but everything gonna be fine.
Oh, okay, I understand. Okay, so one more question On Fire. I heard this will be your last season in EWC 26, but also in Free Fire. I'm not sure, so I'm asking. So, do you feel any pressure, or do you feel happy when you're here in Paris?
ก็อย่างที่ทราบกันนะฮะว่าปีนี้เนี่ยจะเป็นปีสุดท้ายของฟรีไฟร์อาจจะหรือเปล่าก็ไม่มีใครทราบนะฮะแต่ว่าอยากถามว่ารู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับผมก็
นั้น
ก็อย่างที่ทราบกันหลายคนทราบกันนะฮะว่าปีนี้จะเป็นปีสุดท้ายแล้วของฟรีไฟร์หรือเปล่าก็ไม่มีใครทราบได้นะฮะเราเลยอยากถามน้องออนไฟร์ว่ารู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับ
ก็จะทำให้ดีที่สุดครับไม่รู้ว่าจะมีอีกหรือเปล่า
Well, as we have no idea, like no clue at all what's gonna happen to the Free Fire. Are we gonna be here next year or not in EWC? But we're gonna try our best.
All right, thank you so much On Fire, and I'm really hoping that you guys can rock back today because yesterday was not kind of smooth for us, but who knows, today they can jump back really fast. Thank you On Fire, and sending a lot of lucks to Team Falcons today, and thank you to Kay as well. Thank you for your listening, and now let's go around, shall we?
Like that for us. Okay, we're not biased at all. We're just a little bit biased sometimes.
See, I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one.
We're not the only one.
Yeah, well, let's see now. Well, I think it's time to see if Falcons maybe is going to end up getting a booyah. Let's send it over to Lucifer and Husky.
Team Apex Gaming, after getting their booyah back home, their fans feel like this dream which was surreal is now come into play, come into action, and now that will rally everybody to look forward to making it to the finals. And with that,
so
we start our match 9 here at Esports World Cup 2026 Paris. And it looks like Group A, which was supposed to be the group of death, is also becoming a little bit of a comeback for some of the teams to get out of the chopping block.
There might be still some big separations between 6th and 7th spot. Falcons still being the gatekeeper there, but Team Apex Gaming has proven
that those booyahs, they make a lot of difference. They shoot up to the 7th
तो अगर
spot.
हम बात
But when we
करें
look at some
यहाँ पे
individual
most
stats, the
eliminations
Wonder
की
Kid
तो
Rasha
guys,
still
Rasha
tops the
भाई
chart with the most
Trap और
eliminations at
Safia
36. Trap and Saifa sharing
उनके
33
Evos से
apiece,
हैं
which means that these key players are always
ये
going to be
most
the
damage
biggest
भी आप
difference
देख सकते
makers.
हैं
Like what we've seen in the first 2 games, but now we hit into
Rasha
Kalahari, and I'm looking at one team to take it back home, and I
अगर
hope
अगर
that is going to be
Buriram
Evos.
United
You hope for Evos, the fans hope
टॉप
for
पे
their
जा रही है
favorite
then
teams
fight
as the
हो रही है
fight breaks out.
Demon Pride versus Speed
Demon's Pride, they're still at the chopping block. They've not made their move. Paradox also the ones, and it seems like Enrique is in trouble.
यहाँ से अब भाई को ब्रश कर देना
Tap
चाहिए
dance
था
dead, Enrique. Still pick up the safety. Paradox. Are there any resistance? Jazzy has already chased down Enrique.
Okay.
So first blood achieved by Demon's Pride.
तो
Paradox.
भाई Demon's Pride ने भी लंबे से
Instant
मैच
revive.
ऊपर किया
Madara with the
बच्चे
chase down too. That's sneaky gone. 2 for Demon's Pride, but finally some clapback.
Finally भाई हमें
But it's not a
हमें
break, it
Demon's
was just a
Pride की
knock,
तरफ
and
से
therefore Demon's Pride will still be
Please
happy.
देखने
They'll
को
be
मिले।
getting 3 eliminations
और
at
यहाँ
the
से
end of
Demon's
this
Pride ने
fight at
बहुत
Foundation, but there's more that they
लूट
have
के
to
बगैर
pick up
बहुत बड़ी बड़ी
in
टीम से
case they don't
पंगा
want
ले
to be
लेती थी
eliminated.
स्टार्ट
Those
में
keys are
बट
dreams
यहाँ
to
मेरे
a lot.
लाउड का एक प्लेयर आ चुका
And
है
coming out
Demon's
from
Pride की
Pakistan,
तरफ
just one dream
जो कि
is
है
theirs
Trap
to stay alive, go to the survival stage, and it's
Let's see
not
guys,
going to
हम
be
क्या ये
easy
Trap को
because
spot
now
कर
in front
पाएंगे
of them there's Loud. And Trap is the second best in the highest eliminations just after Rasha. So it's going to be even more tougher. However, his teammates are not close by.
I mean, as we get closer to the halfway point of Group A, things are starting to feel a lot more surreal by the second. Especially like you said, the dreams, right? These dreams come at the cost of someone else's.
As the
Evos,
team
despite
demonstrating
having
towards strategy
more of a
change यहाँ पे
tougher
top
game
and
too,
galaxy
we
लगता
didn't
है
hear
बिल्कुल
what Conchita said. The survival instinct of the Wonder Kid kept them alive for longer than they should have. Just, you know, humanly possible. Trap with the pickup on the Madara.
Trap
Team of
ने
TAG
डाउन
that had a
करके
booyah
मारा
in the
भाई
last game.
तब because team
Who woke something up in Aurora, who wants to follow in their footsteps. KD God that gets chased down. Suez on the case. And a full
Okay
wipeout
guys,
here.
यहाँ पे team
TAG
Epic Gaming
from
guys
riches
जो कि
to
यहाँ से
rags.
पूजा किया जिन्होंने हमारे
This is
साथ
not
पिछली गेम
the result they
वो
would
हमारे
have
साथ
expected.
छोड़ चुकी है
After
और
getting a
टीम
booyah, instant wipeout, but Aurora also needs something to say for their fans.
guys
Out of Malaysia,
यहाँ
it's
पे
not
guys
an easy
loud
run that
trap
they've had.
Jazzy को
They've
भी
not
डाउन
made it
करके
to
guys
many of
कर
these
चुका है
stages, and
और
finally coming out, they
एक्स्ट्रा
want
गेम
to
लेके
make a wave,
जाएंगे
and
वहाँ
they
पे
do
फाइट
it.
चल रही है
Maybe
इस वक्त
Kalahari,
guys
even
गन
Neptune
डायनेस्टी
mentioned,
की
the
भी
hookup's
DRS
coming
के
in,
साथ
the
फाइट
game
हो
is going to
रही
be
है
faster, the sniper's going to try and battle it out, and the CQC will be
तो लेट्स सी
undefendable.
गाइस हमें क्या होता है हमें
When we
guys
last checked
काफी
in on the overall
इंटरेस्टिंग फाइट्स चल
ranking,
रही हैं
Gun
गन
Dynasty
डायनेस्टी
pushed out of top 4.
DRX है तो
Currently
guys
sitting
थर्ड
in
पार्टी हो
5th spot.
चुकी है पूरे
First
नाम
2 games
यूनाइटेड
hasn't
की
been
जाने
kind,
से
and it seems like it will only get worse. As Benel hasn't really found anything.
वो गाइस
Same
पूरे
for
नाम यूनाइटेड
Vegas.
की स्नैपर की जाने
And in
से
front
बहुत ही
of
अच्छी
them is
थर्ड पार्टी है और
BRU,
गन
the
डायनेस्टी का
worst
2 प्लेयर्स को
possible
नुकसान हो चुका
entity
है
to go up against in this case. AGAL dispatches of
अबे
Paradox
ये
Gaming's
भी
members.
जाएगा नहीं रुका
Sneaky,
नहीं
he's
रुका
also been spotted. It's going to be trouble. He's the last one. Is he close to the vending machine? He's making a run for it. I'm not sure how many coins he has. There you go. He has 1,100, so he should be able to bring back some of his teammates. But you can see AGAL, they're already a run. They do not want to let Sneaky survive. And Sneaky is just running across the compounds to figure out if he can dabble around, confuse the opponent, but it doesn't seem like it's happening. And very soon he will be found and Paradox will be put to an end.
And that's already 3 teams removed from the lobby.
और इसी के साथ गाइस टीम्स बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रही हैं गाइस
timing of 4 minutes.
साथ
Lau gets a full revive
जो
here,
कि बहुत ही
courtesy of
अच्छी
Trap.
टीम थी
Falcons actually running into
अगर
Aurora
हम
as
बात करें
well,
गाइस
who
टीपी
early
का
on
मुझे
got the
नहीं पता
wipeout.
कि वो हमारे साथ छोड़
Previous
चुकी है
Booyah
या नहीं
team, which was Team Apex Gaming. And I mean for Aurora, on a good day, the only thing that holds them back is that recklessness, right? That,
So when
that bloodlust sometimes causes them to kind of tunnel vision.
और बिल्कुल गाइस
Exo getting brought
डेमोन्स्ट्रेट
back,
हमारे
it
साथ
should be
नहीं
fine. In
छोड़
fact,
डेमोन्स्ट्रेट यहाँ
it
पे
is a
जिंदा
fair
है
fight if Aurora gets into a
यहाँ पे
3v3 against
चारों
Falcons.
प्लेयर
Corona
ही
just get
जिंदा
tagged
है
by Suez.
so guys let's
And
see
on fire called in
क्या
as
होता है
reinforcement with the
टीम
Trogon in hand.
अरोरा के भाई
Suez will
प्लेयर
now have to take that fight on. Coming in close, but on fire is the one that gets the chip damage in.
Falcons with Gun Dynasty not having their day, this should be their opening an opportunity. Zuez could have been taken down, but
Blue
on fire
winner
quick on
Falcon
that
K
blue wall.
played
But
में
finally his
काफी
teammate is there.
ज़्यादा okay
Kizuro
guys, and the Falcon
answers.
the Peru of their
And that's going to be
अपने
another added on
sniper से
elimination.
eliminate
The
कर दिया
second
गया।
coming in for them.
यहाँ पे guys
But on the other end,
बात
damage
करें
leader
तो यहाँ पे
Trap
guys
has been
19 के भाई यहाँ पे
besting
Evos की
rushers,
fight हो रही है
youngsters, and he's
loud
still
track
been
के
leading the
साथ
front.
बिल्कुल
But finally
Evos
Ray
के
puts him
वैसे
down, not giving him
वैसे
enough chance
Ray
right now, at least
Ray
here on
against
Kalahari.
Ray
But we know the squad, they
playing
rally
it
up
make
quickly,
it
they
finish
will
करने
get him
पे
back up.
Brew
But
was
on the other
सारा
end, Evos,
यहाँ पे
after the
AU
first
वाले
two
player को
unfortunate
knock
games
किया
that they've
guys
had,
इसी के
they
साथ
would
guys
want to
बात
pick up
करें तो
points
यहाँ पे
themselves
loud
as well,
guy
because
player
they're the
one point
defending
लगा के
champions.
भाग रहा
They
है
are
guys
now
नीचे ही
close to
damage
being
spread की
pushed
team
down
मौजूद
if
है
Falcons make it to the top 4.
Absolutely, and even
बिल्कुल
for
यहाँ पे
Aurora, this is
loud
going to be a
पे
tough
होने
game
वाली
because they
damage
are getting
spread की fight
picked up by
को
multiple teams.
player
They're
ने
having to
पकड़
invest
लिया guys
resources
पहली
in their
बार
revive.
यहाँ पे
Demon's
team
Pride still in the
damage
last
spread ने इस
spot.
तरह किसी को पकड़ा
So
है
yet found their 4-point. I think in this case, right, we've seen Demon's Pride in the first two games itself. It's not like they kind of went out on a whimper, right? They came in, they get a couple of eliminations.
Bro? What happened?
But I think it's about time we talk about the placements for them, because some of the first two lobbies, wipeouts didn't happen early on. It's not like Kalahari where we've already lost 3 teams, about to be potentially 4 as Lao are on their last legs. So that means that for Demon's Pride, sure, you're getting eliminations, but if we don't get the injection of placement, you are going to be in that bottom 2, because they have been racking up some digits.
I really like that you brought the point of placement points, because it's going to now get crucial, especially if you're in the top 4. There is no in-between day before your grand finals, if you already make it to the finals. And especially at that time, your placement points count. You need to get closer to the champion rush condition, and if you don't, other teams will make it closer, and the Booyah seals the deal of that key and the shield finding a new home.
And it has happened across multiple regions. I mean, we look back at 2025 spring for SCA. It was Onyx that got that win when no one thought they would, right? We call it the Onyx incident. The same happened for the regional USA, where Mia Corp, not the favorite to win.
Yeah.
They got here because they got that booyah. And that's where consistency matters the most. It really hits home the cliche saying, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Exactly.
You could have 200 points in the grand finals, but if a team that hits champion rush at 90 points gets the booyah, they are going to be the champion, and you will only come in second for your efforts.
I'm pretty sure nobody would want to take #2, because we know how devastating it is, especially that the champion can walk away with 3 keys that they would want to add on to their trophy while being crushed. And that is something that esports brings the rawness out of every player, every team. And that's the best part of it. It creates a system of rivalry that they want to again go for an achievement and take them down the next time. But for now, as they're here in the moment, they have to get it going. Quick pause that we have before we resume. Kalahari has already seen 3 teams out of the play, but Buriram, they are on top of it this time. They've been quick to get 7 eliminations. They want to do a lot more, because every other team, they've been taking it away in the first 2 games that we witnessed, and especially at today's halfway mark for Group A here at Match 9, and after this, just 3 more games. And if anybody wants to get back on the race, make sure they're safe and sound. They need to deny the points to the top 4 teams.
Yeah, and I think in the worst case scenario, if a team really has no more chance, and this is probably when we get into match 5 and 6 for day 2, you can play spoilers.
Yeah.
You can ruin the chances. Kick someone out of top 4. Force them to play 10 more games tomorrow.
There's already Gun Dynasty who have missed their mark today. They've not been able to perform in the first 2. They're already the 5th spot. Falcons, they should have been the best ones to take that 4th spot away, but that's not happened yet.
And I think the worst case right now, I mean, the situation gets worse for Gun Dynasty, right?
Yeah.
The first 2 rounds, middle of the pack, just gently pushed out of top 4 by Evo. I say gently, but there was more, there's a double-digit difference. They just got wiped out.
Yeah.
And I think our panel did say, our host, Barney and Luti did mention that during the team walk-ins that the team that, finishes top of the group, they get the privilege of operating the Crusher.
Oh,
it's 2 keys, but still,
Yeah, those are 2 dreams.
You hold the dreams in the palm of your hands.
That's a lot. That's a lot as a responsibility, but at the same time, to see your chances just being crushed, powdered down, and I don't think anybody would want it, but that's how Group A, that's how terrifying Group A has been since yesterday. And even Conchita mentioned this, right? such a drastic change between Group A's performance on day 1 and day 2 of how teams have become tactical, strategic, thinking about their chances, thinking about the number of points they need, thinking about can they make it out and survive further.
Yeah, and I do enjoy the effort of some of the teams, some of the unproven regions. We saw TAG, but we put Pakistan in the conversation, Demons prior, Paradox from Africa, Titan Gaming as well, DRS, basically those at the bottom. Even Aurora, they're coming out a little bit more harder. They're coming out with more aggression and sure, double-edged sword, but they're getting the work done, right? This is some of the initiative that I think took them some time to get used to, but now when the tension breaks, you see Demons probably coming out with a couple of eliminations and they need to patch that up with the placement points.
I like that there is a little bit of a tension break also in this pause happening on stage. We ended up seeing the 6-7 and DRS. They have a total of 67 points.
We were literally talking about this, right? Like, are we going to get an opportunity to be like, oh, this, BRU, they have 161 points, and then we moved down the list, and it was like, oh, DRS 6-7. Yeah, wish dreams do come true on this stage.
Yeah, for us as well. Something that we wished for earlier, it happens.
And it transcends generation. I think that is the best part. Right here. Of course, we are going to have it sorted out, and it's good that it's still in the first phase, right? I say in the first phase, we lost 3 teams. It's
and Kalahari,
and it's Kalahari.
It's very brutal on Kalahari as the grapple guns come in. It's an open terrain. Everybody just has an eye on you, even if you run away. Because we could see, right, the run coming in from Paradox's Sneaky. He was trying to move away from AGL as much as possible. Unfortunate, no vending machine. He was trying to confuse them, and it still did not work out because AGL, there was nothing that Sneaky could hide on. Buildings clearly seen, windows all open, and whenever Sneaky jumped around, they could even spot him and eventually close the distance and put him down. So that's going to happen throughout the game of Kalahari for every team.
Yeah, I was making an observation, and I wonder if we call for Moshi, will he wake up? Sir, you still have a couple more games to go. So no nap time for you guys. As you can see, I mean, I think the wait is going to be the more nerve-wracking part for these teams, right? It's also a matter of like you get into the groove, things are going well, and then someone slams on the brake.
I really like how the storyline itself for Group A has kind of shifted. When we started, we were kind of talking, I think this is going to be an easier decision made for us.
Right.
We're going to be casting. The top 4 teams are already sitting there. They should be easily qualifying. Gun Dynasty in that top 4. But all of a sudden, things have changed. Falcons might have a chance. Evos have not found the best of points. Yes, they're sitting at a total of 141, but that's not completely pretty. If Gun Dynasty end up finding a big game, Evos don't. Evos get put out after having only 1 Booyah, and they still are not their defending champions, will be pushed to the survival stage. So much changing in Group A, completely unexpected.
I think it's a good time to also kind of expand on our earlier conversation about Gun Dynasty, right? Because we saw the interview. They don't feel the pressure. It feels like home. They are very confident and very warranted in the confidence off of day 1. But you also told me back in the green room that there's a good chance that GD falls out of top 4. And I want to expand on that.
Now, the main reason, right? This is something that I've seen in circuit of Free Fire, that some of the teams have a lot of energy coming in, a lot of aggression, and it transcends into points. But day 2 is when they have to keep that consistency going on. But by that time, teams get exhausted. Their playbook falls short, and I think maybe a tad bit for Gun Dynasty, that's the main factor to affect. To add on to that, that's where I thought Ali, they should have a chance today later in our Group B matches, just because they had aggression on the stage. Yes, they were not happy with the result because they also almost had a Booyah, but that also helps them refine those mistakes that they did yesterday, maybe to qualify today.
Yeah. And again, the detail on the plaque, nothing is given, everything is earned, written in the native language of EVOS. In this case, it's Bahasa Indo, and it applies to across the entirety of EWC, across the game titles, and it's in the native language of the team that wins it. It'd be great to see it maybe in Portuguese if a Brazilian team brings it back. There is a good chance that has been the story. And I think, the interesting part is always that we look at the Thailand as the best region.
Yeah.
And that's only because we see them more often. But we get onto that world circuit, suddenly Brazil is in the conversation and the playbook completely changes.
we even see the bullseyes kind of shift, right? At first, it was just BRU. If we take BRU down, we own the world. But now it's the entirety of Thailand. Indonesia starts to step up. And I dare say South Asia, India, Nepal, Pakistan have a dang good chance of making something happen. But I mean, even for Demon's Pride, smiles on their face, completely different from the walk-in where they, where you know you can feel that nervousness. Now, I think they're just enjoying the moment, and maybe that's the best way to survive another day.
I think that's something while we were back in the green room, we all were talking, right? Some of the teams need to have some fun. Even Neptune mentioned this. You have to take these games at least with a bit of fun. If you don't, if there's too much in terms of thought put into it, a lot being, I would say, relayed between each other, a lot of talking that you should be doing this should have gone better, and all of those thoughts will eventually make you a lot more nervous, anxiety running high. That will end up messing your performance. And I think it's time to have a little bit of fun, to bring back the game that you use in your own region, where you top your region. That has to be brought back. That element, you have to isolate yourself. Like, I think that's what Gun Dynasty were channeled into yesterday. If they channel back that, today, they should be back in the top 4 and pushing competition out.
Yeah, if we have seen TAG achieve that history for the region of India with that very first world stage booyah, I think Demon's Pride has a good chance, right?
Yes.
We were going through the narrative and you were telling me that, you know, as much as we see Hot Shot on the world stage 2 years in a row, Demon's Pride, you know, were technically the better team, but they just couldn't be the ones that qualify. Well, now they made it here.
Yes,
they made it here. And if they are the rightful ones, they're the ones that, you know, deserve that spot. It's a long time coming. Took them 3 years. Here they are. But so far, the team feels like it has been slightly reoccurring, right? With the region still at the bottom. And I'm looking at Demon's Pride to change that.
One more region to change this fact is going to be Bangladesh. I want to see Titan Esports Club. They're the giants of the region. Even expected straw hats, but as of now, it's not worked out. But Loud, the last one, DZP gets picked out, and that's going to be an end for Loudspeakers here on Kalahari.
Even when we look at the replay here, but now just had no way out, and that was the wipeout onto Gun Dynasty as well. That is a major setback. The captain of BRU turning it up when it's needed. They have found DRX, but T also removed. I believe that is 4 teams out of the lobby already. Loud actually got picked off stream.
70 points.
Last player, just as the game resumed, the player got picked off, did not have a chance to go in for the revive, and this is how brutal as we get to the halfway mark. At least halfway in terms of the 6 games they had, but they're already at match 9, 3 more games left, deciding the fate of whether they qualify directly into the finals or they'll be pushed to the survival stage or completely knocked out of the tournament itself. But still, Loud Captain Trap, who was there with an interview on stage, still being the player at the second spot with the most eliminations next to Russia at 33. That says a lot about Loud.
I think even the first time when we saw Trap playing on that big stage, we know that this guy is a very aggressive guy, very full of energy. Likes to go in aggressively like a madman. Sometimes doesn't pay off, but it's something that has given Loud that personality and value in times of need. Titan Gaming not doing that good. TEC, excuse me, not doing that good as well. One last survivor with the Morse Dew taking out Jazzy. AJL pushes forward. Demon's Pride. This is the ultimate test if they can't make it any further. But last one being taken down and Madara removed as well. He's only top 16 to make this a run. Keep it alive. The revival does come through. Only enough for one, but one is better than none.
Yeah. It's better than completely getting eliminated. Top 16 position. Yes, no, they are surrounding him, making sure he has nowhere to run. That was a quick movement coming through. That was just distraction over there for top 16. And he'll also be picked up. AGL scoring total 8 elimination, 4 going in for you, and you has been phenomenal today. The sniper coming into play. They start off with the very first booyah and they're continuing those spree of eliminations.
I mean, Dew has always been the player that no matter what happens to a roster, you want him to be the constant. And yes, it has been so many years. I remember first time seeing Dew, it was back in 2022 and they came close to a global trophy. That was taken by BRU under the leadership of Jonah. Aim God on fire here. Falcons. You can say there is the race between Falcons and Evos, and so far Evos are winning.
But guys हम बात करें
forward with the
तो
hook
दो
gun
players
to
हैं
hunt
क्योंकि
for
पीछे की
more
तरफ
of
जा रहे
those
हैं but यहाँ
Falcons
पे
members.
EVOS
Limit X7
एम बोर्ड
out
नहीं
of
जाने
it.
देंगे
But
उनका ऐसा ही
Kororo,
कहना बट
unfortunately,
यहाँ
still
देखना पड़ेगा
exposed.
क्या ये रोक
It's
पाएंगे
going to be
इनको
tough for him to run away. Ray's got it
काफी
closer.
अच्छा
This tower
इस्तेमाल
is
यहाँ
not
पे
going to protect him. He's
रिवाइपलिंग
trying
का
to
और
use the
इसी के
edges.
साथ
This
वहाँ पे
Kalahari
रश किया जा रहा है दो प्लेयर
is
की
not
जाने
going to
से
work out.
और
Kedaro's
बहुत
completely
मुश्किल है यहाँ पे
surrounded now. Can he
भागने का
isolate the
चांस
dual
नहीं है
throw?
यहाँ पे आपको
No
लड़ना ही
dash
पड़ेगा
as
दो
available for
शॉट्स
him.
लगाए जा
God,
रहे
he
हैं
used it all to
जंप
make it
शॉट
here.
और
Damage
शॉट
being
लगाया
done,
गया
and
बिल्कुल डाउन
finally
कर दिया
Kedoro
गया
will be put
यहाँ
down.
पे
EVOS
एम
making
कोर्ट
sure
की
the
जानिब से
competitors for them in the
गाइस
top 4 run are going to be
फाइनल
vanquished. They'll be shut down, making sure
लिमिट
Falcons move to the
देखते
survival
हैं क्या
stage and
करते हैं
not
पे
take away their
और
very own
जो
position
भी
at top
मौजूद है
4.
बिल्कुल गाइस सेफली जा रहे हैं
So
रिवाइव करने के
established
लिए
this.
कोई
This
रिस्क
could be
नहीं
a
लेंगे
EVOS
बट
Memo
रिवाइव तो कर
Kalahari
दिया लेकिन
Ezreal.
AUR के
Good
प्लेयर
stuff
ने नहीं
from
छोड़ा
miles
इनको
away. Nailing the 5th one for his team.
सीधी तरह अगर हम
One of the
बात
few
करें तो
imports
गाइस
we
अगर
have
रिवाइव
for
तो
Malaysian
पॉसिबल कर
team.
ही गए और
In
टीम
fact,
से
the very
जिंदा
first
हैं
player that was
कि
imported
28
was
प्लेयर्स ऑल आइज
Crime
हैं
MKS
यहाँ पे AU और जून
from
AU
Indonesia.
और
Ever since
यहाँ
then,
पे पूरी टीम
it
मौजूद
has
है सामने
been
ही EVOS की
working
टीम
well,
पूरी
you know,
मौजूद
improving
है
the
जो हमने उनका
ecosystem over
वेट
the
करी
years, and I'm happy that
लेट्स सी गाइस
Aurora
आप
has
बिल्कुल
made this,
EVOS के प्लेयर ने
made
इनको
this
स्पॉट कर
change,
लिया है
made this
उनको
move.
यहाँ से लॉन्च पैड लगा के ही
Not
निकलना
just
पड़ेगा
bringing
और
Ezreal,
रोटेशन
but
लेनी पड़ेगी बिकॉज़
giving
यहाँ से निकलना बहुत
rookies
मुश्किल है
2
क्योंकि
years ago
पूरी
like
EVOS की
Suez,
टीम
the
को पता है कि
EXO,
भाई
the veteran to
ये
lead
चार
them.
प्लेयर्स मौजूद हैं और उनको हमने
Nah,
नहीं निकलने देना
has paid off so far.
और
But
बिल्कुल एम
of course,
गोड को उन्होंने
it's more
स्पॉट
to be
कर लिया
desired if
बिल्कुल
Aurora
करेंगे
wants to catch
और
up.
बहुत सारे मारेंगे एम गोड
There's a
नहीं
lot
गाइस
more to be
ये
desired, but the
का
circle
इस्तेमाल
has
करके
its
गलती
own
कर दी बिकॉज़
desires
चार
of
लोग
troubling
चार
teams.
प्लेयर्स मौजूद हो
Moving
तो ये
completely
आपकी
northwestern, and
ग्रैपलिंग
none of the
मारने
teams
वाली
are
गलती
inside the
आपको बहुत
circle. Everybody's
लेट
trying to
होती
use
है
the
यही हुआ
binoculars,
क्या आप
but
ग्रैपलिंग
nobody's
मारो
getting a
वो
hit
चार
inside the
प्लेयर्स
circle
आपको
because there's
एक एक
nobody
दो
at
दो गोलियां मार
foundation.
के आपको
And
एलिमिनेट
finally,
कर गए
EVOS, they decide that's going to be our position, our command post, which has also
इसी
not
जगह
seen
लॉन्च
action
पैड का
so far,
इस्तेमाल
like
करके यहाँ पे
Refinery. Even
टीम
though there are
AUR की
teams,
तरफ
it
बढ़ रही है
seems a
लॉन्च
little
पैड इस्तेमाल
surprising that
किया
we've
जा
not
रही है
seen
की तरफ
Refinery
से
and command
ब्लू
post being a
वाला मार दिया
hotspot.
तो उनको पता ही है कोई
At
प्लेयर
least for
मौजूद
this game,
नहीं
it's
है
because the
बिकॉज़
circle
टीम
doesn't favor it, right? If not,
मौजूद
BRU is
है
going to be dead
टीम BRU
until,
आ
you
चुकी
know,
है लेट्स
ends
सी
of the
अगर
world.
क्या
Moshe
होता है
finding
बिल्कुल
Aswad.
बरहम यूनाइटेड आ चुकी
Refinery
है
is going to be the
ऊपर की तरफ
next
आ रही है
control
हमको
point, and
पता ही है
BRU
ऊपर की
wants to
तरफ
wrestle
आएंगे
over
रश
top
करेंगे
16.
वसाना
Next on the list,
गाइस
Wasana
लेट्स सी
chases
अगर
down
जैसे नॉक
Jazzy.
कर दिया गया
And unfortunately for
वसाना
Demons
की
Pride,
जानिब
they
से
got out of a tough situation early on from AJL's jaws, only to run into
और उसको पता था
another
कि बिल्कुल
Thai Titans.
निकलने की कोशिश
And now
करेगा
it's
बिल्कुल
everyone
निकल चुका है
for
टॉप
themselves.
भी पीछे की तरफ चले गए हैं और ये
On
वसाना
the
भी
other end, it's going to be
एलसी
DRS trying to go in for a second chance.
DRS हो
Titan
गया यहाँ पे
Esports
दो
Club,
प्लेयर्स
they're
नॉक
about
हैं
to
यहाँ पे
lose their
बिल्कुल
players. Blade
DRS
is
का
down.
प्लेयर नॉक कर दिया गया
Seems like A
DRS
is not going to be sharp enough
अब वो
today.
फिनिश भी
Neptune
करेंगे
mentioned
उसी
he
के साथ
has
गाइस
to
हम
be
बात
for the
करें
team.
तो यहाँ पे गाइस
But another
और
loss
टीम
for
से भी
Titan
जिंदा है
Esports
यहाँ
Club.
पे
Kutush and
BRU
Najat.
नहीं
They're
रुक
way
रही
too far away, and DRS will be happy about these eliminations. And Titan Esports Club might have made it out of the chopping block for the time being, but it's not going to be enough.
और यहाँ पे गाइस टीम
If
लाउड
Demons
फिर
Pride
से
end
हमारे
up
साथ
finding
छोड़
points,
चुकी है
they
क्योंकि
might
गाइस
decide
टीम
to rank up.
यहाँ पे
57
लाउड
is where
सेकंड
Titan
थी पता
Esports
नहीं
Club
टीम
is
लाउड
sitting
को
at.
क्या हुआ
Demons Pride
किसकी
is at
नजर लगी है
46
गाइस
padouts.
परफॉर्मेंस
Out
नॉट
of
बहुत
this
अच्छी
game
थी
at least,
अभी भी
so
अगर
if
हम
Demons
बात करें
Pride
तो गाइस
have an
यहाँ पे
opportunity to
टीम
score at least 8-9 points, they
यहाँ
can
पे अगर
instantly
थोड़ा
take
सा
the
अच्छा
position away
परफॉर्म
from
कर
Titan
ले एक
Esports
गेम
Club.
बुया कर
Or
ले
at
तो
least
गाइस
kick
टॉप 10
Paradox
में आ
down to
सकती है
last place,
और
which
मेरे ख्याल से
technically
क्वालीफाई
they've
कर
already
सकते हैं आगे
accomplished.
के लिए मैचेस के लिए
It's a scary thought, and
बट मेरे ख्याल से 4 टीम्स ही यहाँ
if you
से
add on
निकलेंगी
top of
मुझे
that,
इसका
if
कंफर्म नहीं
DRS
पता
starts
बट
getting
फिर
some
भी गाइस
points,
टॉप 10 में तो आना चाहिए ना
then we
टॉप
form
12
the
से थोड़ा सा
separation
ऊपर तो जाना
between
चाहिए
them
देखो
and the bottom three. And it's a scary
नो
thought
डाउट गाइस
if
लॉबी
you are
बहुत हार्ड
Titan
है
Esports
सारी
Club
टीम्स
in
बहुत
this
अच्छी
point
हैं
of time.
आउटस्टैंडिंग परफॉर्मेंस है लेकिन फिर भी
I
गाइस
guess
डीपी
the
जैसे
thing
हमारे
is, guys,
साथ
is that
छोड़ चुका है
DP they have been struggling quite a little bit in the hands of the Thais. BRU finding Blade again, who just got brought back. So the bottom
इसी
of
के
the
बाद
wall is
यहाँ पे टीम
getting
इवोस
fed
के
into the meat
प्लेयर्स
grinder.
मौजूद हैं AU और
Buriram on the
Falcon
other
के
end,
भी
they
दो
find
प्लेयर्स
Demon
आ रहे हैं
Sprite. We were just talking about
यहाँ
them
पे टीम
need
DRS
points.
के प्लेयर्स
Aswab gets
मौजूद हैं
eliminated.
और मुझे टीम
And that
DRS
continues
के
a
प्लेयर्स
lot
आते
more
हुए
problem.
नजर आ
It
रही
seems
है
like
तो
Buriram
देखते
are
हैं क्या
also
होता है
spotting Titan Esports Club Rahat. That'll also be quickly
एक
picked up by
मिनट
Moshi.
दिया गया गाइस
On the other end, Aurora on Falcons. Buriram finally going in for a full-on fight. Madara is the last one. He's
इसी
behind a
के
glue wall.
काफी फाइट
Jonah
हुई
has
है
already
यहाँ पे
called
भाई
it.
DP का
And the
प्लेयर बहुत
entire
ज्यादा
squad is
मुश्किल में पड़
rushing to
चुका है
him.
बिल्कुल यहाँ
And
पे
with him going
एलिमिनेट
down,
कर दिया
that's the
गया
end
टीम
for Demon
डेमोस्ट्रेट
Sprite.
गाइस यहाँ पे
They
टॉप
wanted
8
to
पोजीशन पे
rank
एलिमिनेट हो
up.
चुकी
They
है
wanted to get eliminations. But it seems like Titan Esports Club, the worry at least on Kalahari, will die down.
They have one more chance at least. Blessed by BRU. 17 eliminations and counting. Now it's the move to Foundation. At least to the western side of Foundation. You have Kororo planted right in the middle, but Falcons suffered some heavy damage. And in fact, Kororo is the only survivor, so this should be a non-factor if you are concerned about Team Falcons. TEC split up, which we did see,
इसी के
and
साथ
Aurora
टीम्स रह चुकी हैं
on the
अगर
radar
आगे की
as
तरफ
well.
बढ़ें तो
This is
गाइस
quite the
यहाँ
clear
पे
path
हम
to
आगे की
push
तरफ
through. They
बढ़ें
have stragglers
यहाँ पे
like
BRU के
like members from
171 हो
TEC
चुके हैं
and
पॉइंट
Falcons get a
17
couple of free points. They
एलिमिनेशंस
could
के
start with
साथ
Rahat
गाइस
if they want.
टीम
Buriram now a little trouble
AGAL
because
10
AGAL have
एलिमिनेशंस
started
के
to fire.
साथ इवोस 12
Taken down the
एलिमिनेशंस
captain
के
Jonah.
साथ
On the other end, Aurora
Sorry.
trying to
और
hold
इसी
on
के
to
साथ
the edge
कहते
of the
टीम
circle, but the
PC
circle will also
एक
start
एलिमिनेशन
shifting as
से
the
डी
zone
और
is
टीम
completely
एलिमिनेशन
strict.
AU और यहाँ पे गाइस
They'll
7
only
एलिमिनेशन
wait
लाते हैं फाल्कन
and try
2
to see if they
एलिमिनेशन
could
साथ
spot somebody. In the
और लाइक सी
meanwhile,
जाएगा
at a
क्या होता है
distance,
7
Voltmaker
टीम्स
being
रह
spotted.
चुकी
That's
हैं
going to be Evo's
और बिल्कुल गाइस
fighting for
अभी जोन
elimination.
फुटा हुआ है
And
टीम
Evo's,
को
we
जोन में
spoke
आना
about
ही
them. They
पड़ेगा
had
और
the
अगर बात करें
advantage
तो
inside
गाइस
the
टीम
circle. They laid
फाल्कन
their
बहुत
foundation, but
ज़्यादा
unfortunately, the
मुश्किल
circle
में
did not allow it.
बिकॉज
It
उनका
forced them.
लास्ट पूरे
Apex will
स्टैंडिंग है
still
और
be
गाइस
able
अभी
to
बिल्कुल
find.
भी यहाँ
Takure
पे
is
सेफ
out.
नहीं है
And now
ब्लू
on
वॉल्स का
Buriram as
सहारा
well.
है
Evo's
प्लेयर को
still
क्या यहाँ
firing,
पे उनका प्लेयर
finding
से क्या
elimination
पाएगा
and
देखना
also
पड़ेगा
helping
परफॉर्म
out
करेगा
AGL in the mix.
AGL बहुत ही अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस कर रही है और किल्स के लिए आप देखें किल्स के लिए आप देखें कि क्या किल्स हो चुके हैं और यहाँ पे चारों के चारों प्लेयर साथ ही हैं और गाइस BRU का प्लेयर स्नाइपर मौजूद है यहाँ पे टीम EVO यहाँ पे बिल्कुल एक प्लेयर नॉक कर दिया गया है लॉन्ग से और इसी के साथ गाइस प्लेयर को बचाने की फुल कोशिश बिल्कुल रिवाइव कर लिया गया टीम EVO के प्लेयर
Defenses dwindling
हम
for
बिल्कुल अगर
Evos.
बात करें दोनों क्लोज हो रही है गाइस बिल्कुल हमें टीम को बहुत ही अच्छा
spraying
इस्तेमाल
lead
किया
at
जा
them.
रहा है नॉक
Apex
कर
needs
दिया
some
गया
help.
अगर इस बात करें यहाँ
finds
पे
another one.
DRS के प्लेयर्स को नॉक किया जा रहा है बिल्कुल एलिमिनेट हो चुके हैं ड्यू और वे टीम वाइड फोर्थ हो चुकी टीम फाल्कन्स और इसी के साथ AU और अगर हम बात करें तो आगे की तरफ बढ़ी है ऊपर जैसी टीम एक और मौजूद है बिल्कुल अगर हम बात करें टीम EVOS मौजूद है और देखते हैं क्या होता है BRU गाइस को बहुत मुश्किल है बिकॉज BRU तो एक ही प्लेयर जिंदा है वो भी
And now
गाइस
Evo's
स्नाइपर
also
है
deciding to send off in the other direction because the zone is not in their favor. But before that, they will have to clear the
और प्लेयर
position.
हमें
They
देखते हैं क्या
spotted
होता है
two different teams, but they're only spotting the players. They don't know it's two different teams. And Titan Esports Club, that's going to be Blade getting taken down. Cypher from AGAL helping out in the mix. Azriel trying to back off,
वैसे
join
टीम
his
वो लॉन्च पर
teammates.
मार के
AGL
जा रही है
in the
इनका
mix,
फर्स्ट लाइन के
making
लिए
sure that
साबित हो गया
Evos
नहीं
don't
देखना
survive.
पड़ेगा
A
गाइस
rush
बिल्कुल यहाँ
out.
पे दोनों
He
तरफ
puts
से
Azriel down,
टीम EVOS
confirms,
पर
but it's
यहाँ
going
पे
to be
डैमेज
DRS
मारे जा रहे
stealing
हैं
it
पीछे की
away.
तरफ से यहाँ पे
Knocks from
AGL की
somebody,
काफी तरफ
elimination
AGL की
from
तरफ से काफी
somebody.
ज़्यादा
But
प्रेशर
who is
डाला जा
winning
रहा
it?
है
It
और यहाँ पे
is
गाइस
AGL with
AU को
Evos
यहाँ पे गाइस
together.
काफी ज़्यादा
Let's
डाउन कर
smash
दिया
DRS
गया
out.
पे लेमरेज की जगह टीम DRS यहाँ पे गाइस हमारे साथ छोड़ चुकी है और ये हमारे साथ छोड़ चुकी है EVOS की प्लेयर नॉक हो चुके हैं